Greetings in the name of the Most High Jah Rastafari. Let me get my picture up on the screen. Director, what's happening? Give me a minute. Director, I'm not seeing my picture up. I'm not seeing my picture up. I don't know what's happening there. Is that drama already? As we start, so is that drama? So I know you all hear me. Just wait, I will come up just now. Greetings in the name of the Most High Jah Rastafari. This is your girl Ginger and Sister Jenny, Auntie Jenny. If you want to get formulas, Miss Jennifer Frederick, with another edition of We Talk, We Ting Unfiltered, well, they can't see me as yet. But you know, we just started, right? So by the time we play the anthem and thing, we will sort out that sort out.
You need to
Let me remove director. Why you on my stage? Oh Lord, I know adjusting everything. People, I had my camera off, so forgive me for that. Let me start with the pledge. You know, it must have a little something, a little blooper. Let's do it with the pledge.
I solemnly pledge to dedicate my life to the service of my God and my country. I will honor my parents, my teachers, my leaders, and my elders, and those in authority. I will be clean and honest in all my thoughts, my words, and my deeds. I will strive in everything I do to work together with my fellow men of every creed and race for the greater happiness of all and the honor and glory of my country.
So people, we are here today. It's Friday, the 12th of December. Just now is Christmas, just now is Old Year's, New Year's, Carnival, and then Easter, and the whole thing goes wrong and wrong again. Time and tide wait on no one, but I just wait on my peeps. So we start this thing one time, you know, I always like to start with a little historical content and some information on that. But I'm starting on a little sad note today, and that is to send condolences from the family of Levitog Ting and Bounce Up Central to the family of the late Freddie Ferreira, who would have passed away. I think it was yesterday. No, Freddie Ferreira is or was
I'm here with the Dean of Doxford, Mr. Ferdinand Ferdy Ferreira, Dr. Ferreira, and it's my pleasure to be here with you today, Mr. Ferreira. So I wanted to ask you a few questions about your upbringing and how you got to be the person you are today. What made you who you are today?
Very interesting question. Me, first of all, thank you for making yourself available for this interview. I have documented in my biography, unlike so many others, the history of my upbringing.
So let me try this again. Something is not going right, but you know what? We will persevere through this. As I was saying, we lost a stalwart of the People's National Movement. Some call him a walking encyclopedia and walking historian. He was right there in the days of Dr. Eric Eustace Williams and the PNM. So he has and had a lot of history. He wrote several books. I would advise people to please go buy those books if you want to know the real history of the People's National Movement. As I said before we had some technical difficulties, that he would have passed yesterday. So again, from Louis Ting family and myself and my family, also Bombs Up Central and their family, we send condolences to Freddie Ferrer and family and friends. And there's just a little something about Mr. Ferreira. Where do you think going now? I don't understand what's happening. The video that was just playing, I don't understand. What is this today? Woosa! You won't let them zombie and him interfere with the flow at all. You ain't gonna let that, so listen to this.
90-year-old Freddie Ferreira said he will be forever comforted by the recognition he has received for his contribution to society.
As I proceed to my inevitable destiny, where my voice shall no longer echo my country, as the patriot, and my pen shall no longer be my sword of execution. I shall be forever comforted by your recognition, your inspiration, and your encouragement.
As this country approaches its 60th anniversary of independence, Mr. Ferreira said a small nation like Trinidad and Tobago showed the world its resilience.
As I celebrate this momentous occasion, all I ask of you, my fellow citizens, is to honor and observe, now more than any other time in history, the watchwords given to us by the father of the nation. Discipline, tolerance, production. Do not join the unpatriotic bombings, political and otherwise, and fan the fires of disunity of this country.
President General of the Seamen and Waterfront Workers Trade Union, Michael Anisette, said he admires Mr. Ferreira's tenacity.
I look forward every Sunday, sometimes 2 or 3 times a week, to engage the Dean from Oxford in all kinds of conversations. And what is critical and important, and I think you don't mind doing, is at 90 years, he still has the wit, he still has the sense, he still has the insight.
Despite not having a formal education, Mr. Ferreira's family said his contributions to the landscape of Trinidad and Tobago were recognized in 2021 by the University of Trinidad and Tobago after receiving an honorary doctorate of humane letters. Mahalia Joseph Wharton, TTT News.
So that was just a little snapshot of Mr. Freddie Ferreira, who had died, stalwart in the People's National Movement. There's so much more that could be said and shown of him, but I will take the whole show. The opposition leader would have sent her condolences, political leader of the People's National Movement, and so would have my member of parliament, the Honorable Stuart Richard Young, SC. And here he says that a PNM giant and a patriot has transitioned further as he was fondly and widely known, was a fountain of knowledge and history. Thank you, Freddie Ferreira, for all that you contributed to the development of our country and the PNM. May your soul rest in eternal peace. To Freddie's family and friends, may God grant you strength and comfort. So that were the words of condolences there from my member of parliament. Again, well, who don't know who's my member of parliament now don't want to know. The Honorable Stuart Richard Young, SC. I make no bones about it. That is my member of parliament. Yeah, so let me continue. So, I like, as I say, we like to go into the historical things and things that make you say, So what we have here today for you, and let's hope that the internet will give no set of trouble.
I will tell you, I read a New York Times piece on a 100-year-old survivor of the Tulsa Massacre. And my question was this: what's the Tulsa Massacre? You know, I was taught American history every 3 years growing up. 5th grade, 8th grade, what comes after 11th grade, and then I studied in junior college, and I've read it ever since for pleasure. How is it that it wasn't until 2 years ago that I heard about the Tulsa Massacre? How is that possible? I've heard about Custer's the Little Bighorn. I heard about the Alamo. You know, I heard about the Triangle Shirtwaist Fire. You know, I heard about all kinds of disasters in which people died. But I had never heard about this thing that happened in 1921, only 3 years before my dad was born. In the same year that Donna Reed was born, we didn't hear about this thing that happened in which essentially one of the most successful black communities in America, Black Wall Street, in which everybody was not only burned out of their homes and their businesses, but then driven out of the city limits by an angry mob of, I'm sorry, white people.
Oklahoma had 45 black towns and municipalities. It was capital of black self-determination. Black people came for the same reason as whites, for new possibility. They saw in Tulsa an opportunity for business. Tulsa itself was a boomtown.
The reason was in 1905, an oil well wildcatter discovered the Glen Pool, which was the richest small oil field in the entire world.
And so when the city began to boom because of oil, it just drew more people.
These professionals and merchants in these smaller all-black towns, they then migrated to Tulsa. They're coming by train, they're coming by wagon, they're walking, they're getting there any way that they can. And as the city of Tulsa goes from this sleepy cow town into something else, there's a part of the city in the northeastern corner that becomes the primary African-American settlement, known as Greenwood.
I liken it to a city within a city. Greenwood itself is an area of nearly 40 square blocks, with individual neighborhoods, individual churches that have their own parishes.
About 40 to 45 blocks of a residential community with a business district.
Greenwood community was staked out by a fellow named O.W. Gurley, who really is the father of the Greenwood district and established the first business there in 1906.
Gurley was a very community-focused, visionary leader who saw in Greenwood, you know, the promise of creating a community where Black people could flourish.
O.W. Gurley and J.B. Stratford, they worked together and they had a specific intent to make African Americans wealthy, landowners, entrepreneurs. They both knew what the state of Oklahoma was offering. They knew that they needed to be very intentful in creating Greenwood.
These were members of a Black community who were showing Black people that a new world was possible. They were a sign and a symbol to Black communities about all of the wonderful things that we could be.
You have all sorts of businesses in Greenwood. You have everything from funeral parlors to theaters, hotel. There's a public library, a Black library. There are chili houses, cafes, restaurants. There's just everything there.
There were a dozen surgeons and doctors. There were several lawyers. There was a Black-owned photography studio.
There are Black working people. They're not working necessarily in oil, but they're working in all sorts of businesses that are supporting the oil boom.
Greenwood was a community of necessity. It was a segregated enclave. Black folks couldn't apply their trades or purchase goods and services in the larger white community, so they created their own economy. That economy became successful because Black folks did business with one another and kept dollars largely in the Black community.
What happens in Greenwood is that segregation, which is not necessarily desired, segregation actually enables Black businesses to thrive, Black professionals to thrive.
It was a district where, in fact, money, dollars, could turn over 5 or 6 times.
In Greenwood, you could, as a Black person, you could advance. And you had a number of individuals in the community that were prospering because of the success of Greenwood. Booker T. Washington coined the phrase Greenwood as the Black Wall Street, or the Negro Wall Street of America.
As the community grows, and grows in affluence, and grows in confidence, these race men and women come to the fore. They articulate a kind of outrage about racism. They articulate a kind of self-determination. They articulate a resistance.
Andrew Jackson Smitherman worked as an attorney and as a journalist. He was a Creek freedman and teamed up with J.B. Stratford to create the Tulsa Star, the first daily Black newspaper in Oklahoma.
The Black newspaper at that time was a forum for pointing out black achievement at a time when white newspapers presented black people only in crime. But the heart of it was an agitation for justice and an agitation against lynching.
At the same time that's happening, you see in the summer of 1919 a rise of racial terror all over the country.
New York, Philadelphia, Memphis, Chicago, Washington, D.C., Elaine, Arkansas. We could go on and on and on.
A lot of these riots are really fueled by anxieties about black advancement and black success. And we're not only talking about cities like Chicago or DC or New York, we're talking about cities like Tulsa.
In 1921, those same tensions in the United States were present in Tulsa. And it did revolve around jealousy and resentment. It threatened the system of white supremacy.
Certainly in Tulsa, which was an incredible concentration of black wealth. You can look at Tulsa as a tinderbox. Like, what is the spark that's going to ignite it?
Yeah, so that's a lot of issue about Tulsa. People look it up. It's very fascinating. It dispels everything they just want to tell us that African people can't do anything, we can't do business, we're not successful. And we keep telling you all that is a lie. Okay? Look it up. It's interesting and see how far they would go to make sure that we always remain to the bottom of the barrel. And in my opinion, like some Indians in this country want to continue to make African people stay to the bottom by keeping saying all the time, we in crime and we trying in crime and we's crime and this crime. That's all they'll be saying. You know, you're not successful. No, not all the successes in the African community. It's all the crime and the children mother and who make Carnival finish. Ralph Mirage, who is the penitentiary and CARICOM something. He talk about the fact that after Carnival, children that's born African, like you just go behind the bush and have sex with anybody. That is how I interpret it. And by November, December, so we make child. All is in a negative light, but I want you all African people be proud of your heritage, your lineage, your ancestry. I want Indian people to be the same shiny people, Syrian, everybody. Be proud of who you are. So let me continue with my history again. This is some powerful African woman during history. Not during history, but of historical times.
Did you know who were the top 10 fearless African women in history? At number 10, Ya Asantewaa, the warrior queen who led the Ashanti in a fierce uprising against British colonial rule. 9. Queen Nzinga Mbande, a master strategist who fought the Portuguese for decades using diplomacy, warfare, and wit. 8. Amina of Zazzau, the fierce Hausa warrior queen who expanded her kingdom through unstoppable conquest. 7. Nehanda Charwe Nyakasikana, spirit leader of the Shona Rebellion, executed but remembered as the soul of resistance. 6. Funmilayo Ransom Kuti, the fearless activist who defied colonial powers and ignited women's rights movements. 5. Hatshepsut, the woman who ruled as pharaoh, leading armies and building Egypt's greatest monuments. 4. Dihya Kahina, the Berber queen who united tribes and defied Arab conquest with unmatched courage. 3. Ranavalona I, the Iron Queen who protected her island from European invasion with brutal resolve. 2. Candace Amanirenas, the one-eyed queen who crushed Roman forces and forced Caesar Augustus to retreat. 1. Queen Nandi, mother of Shaka Zulu, her fierce willpower and strength shaped one of Africa's greatest empires.
Know your history, people. Know your history.
Did you know the Trini word Bad John came from a real Bajan man? His name was John Archer, a soldier turned wharf worker in 1887. After moving from Barbados to Trinidad, he became infamous for his temper. He racked up over 119 convictions, yet never for stealing or dishonesty. Locals called him Bad John, and soon the nickname became a full expression. A Bad John meant someone rough, bold, and feared, but often respected too. Archer once jumped into the Gulf to rescue people from a sinking boat. He carried both pride and contradiction, a troublemaker and protector in one. The word later evolved to describe stick fighters, panmen, and street defenders. Bad Johnism became a symbol of Caribbean resistance, courage with chaos. Poll: do you think today's Bad John spirit still protects or only provokes? Like, follow, and share if Caribbean lingo feels like living history to you.
I'll show you something you didn't know. A lot of the enslaved Africans came from Barbados. They came from the other Caribbean country, Grenada, St. Vincent, St. Lucia. So when they keep telling us Dr. Eric Williams brought Vincentian and the Grenadian here to vote, they don't know what they're talking about, because in 1799 or 98, anywhere around there, when the Spanish wanted to get involved in the sugar industry, they don't want to do the work themselves. So they sent out something called the Sidera population, where they invited the French to come and the domesticated enslaved persons to come and develop the sugarcane industry. Yeah? So if you had to blame anybody for the Bajan and the Grenadian and the Vincentian for being here, you have to blame the Spanish on them, and the French who bought the domesticated slaves here had nothing to do with Dr. Eric Eustace Williams. In fact, they were here before. Dr. Eric Williams was born here before indentured Indian laborers came here. They are the ones that developed Trinidad and Tobago. They are the first builders of infrastructure in Trinidad. The first builders of infrastructure. So you know what infrastructure is? Road, canals, drains, bridges. They did that, our African ancestors. So don't be fooled. We have always been working, and working hard too. Listen to something here on the Red House.
Did you know that in the heart of Port of Spain, the Red House building, the home of Parliament in Trinidad and Tobago, was discovered to be built on the remains and relics of our first peoples? In 2013, during the refurbishment of the Red House, construction workers found the bones of as many as 60 people. Archaeologists found that they dated back between 125 AD and 1395 AD, long before Columbus. They were the bones of the indigenous inhabitants of this land. In 2019, the remains were rededicated and reinterred at the same site in a sacred ceremony led by the local First Peoples community following traditional rites. Now, every year on October 14th during First Peoples Heritage Month, a ceremony is held to honor their memory. May we never forget that the story of our country began long before the streets and buildings we know today.
Yeah, some more history for you. You know, I saw this video and I thought it was so hilarious, and I think it is necessary now. This is somebody called Kivo, something so. He was speaking about mall manners. So for all you who out there in the mall and them and shopping areas and stuff, listen to the etiquette when you're in these places, please. As said by Mr. Kivo. I found it funny.
All right, so the mall is a little busier than usual, and traversing the mall today, I wanted to just give people some mall etiquette. Just some mall, I didn't realize it had this, but some mall etiquette. Number one, when we go to the escalator, give me a 2 steps now. Give me a 2-step space. Why you up under me there? Why are you there? Move from there. You can't wait at 2 steps. Why you have to be so close? It is uncomfortable. Give me 2 steps now. Oh gosh. So you have any Last Supper in the food court. You have 15 chairs, right? 15 chairs. No, somebody sitting down here. What is going on? 15 minutes pass and nobody came to sit down. Give me a chair. You have any Last Supper here? What is going on with you? Give me a chair. You're wicked. They're not even in the mall. They're on the way to the mall. Are you holding chair? To all security, do not believe at Trini when they say, I just running in quick to come back. It's a lie. If they are blocking somebody's car, running in quick is a damn lie. Don't believe them. Tell them find a park. When I come outside or I have to leave, your big car is blocking me. Oh God, sorry. No, not sorry. Move from there. Ladies, gentlemen in the mall who's selling, I appreciate your sales strategy. But if I told you I don't want anything else, I don't want anything else. I buy a shirt. You know what, a tie without a nice tie? I just want the shirt. You know what, a bow tie? You want a belt? I want a shirt alone. You sure you don't want a socks? I want a shirt alone. Leave me alone. You see when you and your crew walking in the mall? Walk in a straight line. I'm talking about one behind the other. Don't be walking with next to each other. I don't know what you're trying to do here. If it's a video shoot, what you're doing, you're blocking people. Walk in a straight line.
Right, so that's some more etiquette there from people. I found it to be very funny, but it is true sometimes, see these things, right? So, we always speak about things that that affect us and are able to put it across so funny. I saw this about Kes Leventala, and we want to send congratulations to him. Kes is to headline Lincoln Center Unity Jazz Festival in 2026. So it says that Kes the band will headline New York Center in January 2026, joining the, oh gosh, my petty blocking the damn thing now. Joining the something Trinidad and Tobago greats like the Mighty Sparrow and Etienne Charles, who have performed at the iconic venue. The group led by Kes Leventala is set for back-to-back shows on January the 8th. So the word was joining the ranks of Trinidad and Tobago greats like the Mighty Sparrow and Etienne Charles, who have performed at the iconic venue. Right. So the group led by Kes Leventala is set for back-to-back shows on January the 8th at the Rose Theatre and January the 9th at the Appel Room as part of Jazz at Lincoln's Center Unity Jazz Festival, a celebration of global jazz culture and the African diaspora. The appearances form part of Kes' 20th anniversary year, which includes new music and the release of their upcoming single Rum and Coca-Cola on December the 12th. Hey, today, director, see if you find that for me, please. Devon Teller called a showcasing go mine. House swing. Devon Teller called the Lincoln Center show a dream come true, while Charles said he's eager to bring Creole soul to the house of Mercy Lincoln. So big up his whole self and your whole team, Kes Devon Teller. Keep making us proud. Another person continue to make us proud because so they want in the Caribbean as a leader. Because the one that we have here, some people may say is a misleader. That's an opinion some may have. I'm seeing here Prime Minister Mia Mottley named amongst Forbes 100 most powerful women for 2025. This was written in Barbados today, the 11th of the 12th month, 2025. And it says, again, Prime Minister Mia Mottley has once again earned international recognition, securing a spot on the 2025 Forbes World's 100 Most Powerful Women list, where she ranks number 99 among the globe's most influential political, business, and philanthropic leaders. Forbes highlights Mottley's continued global impact, particularly her forceful advocacy on climate change, her diplomatic leadership, and her role in steering Barbados' constitutional transition. According to her Forbes profile, Mottley was elected as Barbados Prime Minister in 2018. When she was sworn in, she became the first woman to hold the role. The profile, the profile also notes her rise as a global leader on climate issues, referencing her 2021 address to the United Nations General Assembly, where she delivered an impassioned speech calling for urgent action. The same year, the United National, not Congress, United Nations was national. So that same year, the United Nations Environment Program called her a champion for the earth for policy leadership. Forbes further underscores her role in Barbados' historic constitutional shift. Just couldn't help it. Under her leadership in November 2021, Barbados officially became a parliamentary republic and removed the Queen of England as its head of state. Mottley's inclusion places her amongst a global cohort of women shaping economies, diplomacy, technology, philanthropy, and cultural influence. She joins a 2025 powerful woman list dominated at the top by political heavyweights European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen at number 1. European Central Bank President Christine Lagarde at number 2. And Japan's first Prime Minister, okay, forgive me what they said, Sane Takashi at number 3. If that is not it, I wasn't born in Japan, I don't speak Japanese, please forgive me. Forbes 22nd annual ranking elevates women across four metrics: money, media, impact, and spheres of influence. This year, list spans 100 women from 17 countries, collectively commanding an estimated 37 trillion in economic power and influencing the lives of more than 1 billion people. Motley's leadership trajectory, the outlets note, being long before her premiership. Her first ministerial appointment came in 1994 as Minister of Education, Youth and Culture, marking the start of a political career that would later carry her to the regional and international prominence. The publication further underscores that her continued appearance on major global rankings reinforces her status as one of the Caribbean's most visible and influential political figures, often cited for her bold rhetoric on climate justice, global equity, and economic reform. Congratulations dear to Mayor Motley of Barbados. It is unfortunate that when they record our Prime Minister, it might be for getting hauled before the International Criminal Court. I just say, I don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen, but I just say, I don't know. Let me continue, music continue. So, this was a day when the Jamaica Gleaner. Caracas on Wednesday accused Washington of blatant theft as the United States, US President Donald Trump announced the seizure of a large oil tanker off the Venezuelan coast. Venezuela strongly denounced and condemns what constitutes blatant theft and an act of international piracy, publicly announced by the President of the United States, the country foreign minister said in a statement. Excuse me. Let me see what more it have in this. Hey, Papa. Oh, you la la. That was it. So, the seize a Venezuelan tanker. I just want to ask them, and this is a serious question because I am not a military person. I don't know much for them thing and thing. I just stay in my lane. Me, I know not more than this. So I ask them a question. A tanker is way, way bigger than them fishing boat. And if they, what's the reason they think the tanker? Is it because they suspect it was carrying narcotics? Because they bombed the fishing boat on them, out of the water, they say allegation of drug trafficking and narco trafficking and all that. Look how easy they seize this tanker. I think I see some helicopter come over it and people come down some ladder or some kind of bacchanal, right? So why they gonna do the same for the boat and them? I just asking a question because I don't know, I don't understand this thing. I don't know, I just asking. It's just confusing. That's why the Caribbean is a zone of peace. We don't want them thing to hurt we head. We want to get up and party. Like Marshall said, we just want to party. That's not the people say that all we do. We want to party. We want to go to the beach and eat shark, bacon shark. We want to throw ketchup and mustard and all the things in comparison. Well, all these things and things that the sandwich tick too. We want to eat hops and ham. We want to eat crab and dumpling. We want to eat roast hair. We want to eat double. We like that thing. Go on the beach and put on 2 piece and know your body not in sync with the 2 piece, but we put it on still because that's how we is. We want to party. Yeah? Okay. Let me continue. So I'm seeing here. Guyana has signed US, I'm waiting for it to load. This was December the 10th, Daily Express. Guyana signs US military cooperation agreement. Papa, you. President Ali, this is just a Trini here talking to you. Take care you and get yourself tied up in Ting, you know. Okay. Ting that sound nice, so you know, and then when you hear the bacchanal, they get ropey into all kind of thing. Careful, sir. Careful, sir. I just saying that. Guyana President Ifran Ali greets U.S. Senator Advisor to the Secretary of War, Patrick Weaver, and the Acting Assistant Secretary of War of Western Hemisphere Affairs, Joseph Humer. Georgetown, Guyana. Guyana has signed an agreement with the United States expanding military cooperation between the two countries. The two countries also signed a statement of intent to expand joint military cooperation with full respect for the sovereignty and laws of both countries, President Ifran Ali said. Following talks here with senior U.S. officials, including U.S. Senior Advisor to the Secretary of War, Patrick Weaver, and the Acting Assistant Secretary of War for Western Hemisphere Affairs, Joseph Humer, on Tuesday. Ali said that the agreement is part of an evolving process between Washington and its allies in South America and the Caribbean community, CARICOM, to work on defense and security. The U.S. government now is launching what they call the Southern Sphere of Security, where they are now coming up with a strategy for the Western Hemisphere, and the U.S. government is to invest more and pay attention more to the CARICOM and Western Hemisphere. So basically, the countries and allies in the region signaling their intention for more collaboration and cooperation, he said. President Ali, probably speak for yourself and Kamla Persad-Bissessana. I don't think everybody in the Caribbean want what we see happening right now. I don't think that is what they would want. They don't mind, in my opinion, that America helping with the drug trade and all that because they have more sophisticated equipment than us. You must admit that. They are superpower, you must admit that. But people don't want nobody to bully them. President Ali, so talk for yourself. Unless the other Caribbean leaders stand with you, well, I know Kamla Persad-Bissessana will stand with you because she already did send a signal that if Venezuela touched Guyana, she go get in. I don't know if she was getting in with. I really don't know. I don't know. Anyway. So, President Ifran Ali, my darling, talk for yourself in these things now. So let me continue. Because I'm reading this whole thing, you know. Ali said the agreement provides for reinforcement in long-term training and collaboration under existing regimes, like the Shipwrighter Agreement that allows the U.S. security personnel to chase, intercept, and board drug trafficking vessels in Guyanese water. Okay, this piqued my interest. The Shipwrighter Agreement. Did Trinidad and Tobago sign that? Did Kamla Persad-Bissessana sign that? Because it says here in that Shipwrighter Agreement, it's allowed the U.S. security personnel to chase, intercept, this is the American Navy, please stop it, that intercept, and board. We are boarding the ship now, and everybody lie down on the ground and think behind the back, right where they say the shipwrighter. But where we did see the in this allegation thing, it ain't there, you see all that, I just see, and then they said that people that survive and hold on, and the next one. So what rider is that? That's not shipwrighter, that's a what? I don't. Always we last, you know, you can't take this pressure. Yeah, you have to ask whether the statement of intent would lead to the signing of a defense treaty between US and Guyana. President Ali replied by saying, this is evolving, so in the coming months, there will be greater discussion on more levels of cooperation and the integration of our work. Okay, now could be nearly finished. The signing of the agreement comes less than 24 hours after Ali reiterated Guyana's commitment to work with its international allies in promoting peace, democracy, and ridding the region of maligned actors involved in transnational crime in Guyana and the rest of the Caribbean. Ali has told the visiting Grenadian Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell that Guyana has consistently spoken about the abuse of our airspace and our waterways by all kinds of criminal elements, all kinds of illegitimate trade, and we stand strong and steadfast in every action that will allow those illegitimate actors to continue to tarnish the reputation of our region, and we have to do this in partnership if we are to have a region that's safe for our children 30, 40, 50 years from now. President Ali don't try to rope in Dixon now. Prime Minister Dixon, his citizens don't talk and things, and don't train up the man, you know. Because when the man leave here to go back to Grenada to face the people who don't protest him, all this thing, don't look for company. You don't have company with Kamla Pasabi Sessa apparently. Always stick together. Don't try to pull in other people on their back. You see what it must be? When they get in anything, you want to pull in everybody. So if things hit the roof, you're going to ball when it's them and them and them. Hey, let me continue. Hey, man. What the hell I hear in here? Oh, God. Listen now. I want to listen to this for a reason. And this is coming from Guyana. And I want to listen to the end for a purpose. And I hope that President Ali is aware of this, and this is not true. Because we have 50 doctors going up to Guyana. And I wouldn't want our doctors to go up there and have to face them kind of thing. Because we doctors, well, it had one of them that come out and say all kind of thing. Well, die one. Die one out of, huh? Do you remember the one, Dr. Swao? Don't remember he was running for. You basically, doctors, listen, whether Indian, African, or when they go by doctors handle you nice. You know that. You have the money, you pay your money. And if it's a family physician, you know, things must be nice, right? So, anyways, I want to let the listeners come into Guyana. I was like, what the hell I hear in here? And when only see who's saying them thing, only go say, but what the ARS is this? Some African people really hate themselves. But I want to let listen. I want to let listen. It is something right. Me ain't going Guyana. I good. I don't like to travel already. So me ain't going Guyana. It is something right. What the damn thing? Right. It is something right. Only listen to this.
Hi guys, good night. Tonight I am very, very, very fucking angry.
My bad. I want to tell, oh yes, that's it. Thank you, director. This full of some cuss, but it's in context. What the woman say, right? It ain't have no MC, but it have cuss. I forgot to tell you all that, so let me continue. Thank you, director.
Hi guys, good night. Tonight I am very, very, very fucking angry, right? Now they get this fucking black crab mother cunt that call the fucking self Dr. Prasad, and his WhatsApp number is 597-831-9171. And this fucking auntie man come on social media and make a video and telling Chinese, East Indians, and all non-black to not let your children mix with black people. That if you're living in a black people area, you need to move out and don't buy no property in it. And don't let your children mix with them. Because these black niggers, according to this, listen, these black niggers are out robbing and whatever not.
Are? You see the crime committed,
I listen.
You cover it up. You don't intervene to help the victim. You don't. Because to you, it's an Indo guy and it's somebody else. Oh, well, it's not my problem. But when these niggas turn their guns on you, oh, you cry. Oh, the government is not providing security. Oh, it's the Ali government fault. The police is corrupt. You cry. Tears.
Yeah, listen to this man.
But when it's somebody else who is not of your race, you're like, oh, well, you comment, well, we got to be careful. I want to talk to the Chinese, the Indians, the non-black people. If you have it, if it's possible, if you have the means, move out of the black villages. Sell your house, leave the ghetto, leave the areas where they have more blacks living there. Go to areas where they have more Indians, more Amerindians, more Chinese. Don't live. Don't buy properties in black neighborhoods. Don't live in black neighborhoods. Don't allow your children to play with these black children. Avoid, even if you can avoid the schools, but public schools you can't. Well,
wow,
it's not that easy.
Wow.
But if it comes to the schools, take your children, go there, wait for them, take them home.
Wow.
Make sure your children do not associate with these black kids. Because a lot of these black children, they come from ghettos. That's what they hear, that's what they see. So any slight misunderstanding between your children and these black kids, they can hurt your kids because they come from neighborhoods where all they do is rob and kill people. If you are in public or when you are in public and you see a black person coming, cross the street. And if you realize they cross the street with you, run as hell. Run like hell. If they run after you, scream. This is how you got to do it now. If you take a minibus or a public transport, sit behind the black person.
Oh, Jesus.
Not besides them, not in front of them. Sit at the back. Always keep them in front of you. I can't say it any other way. You have to protect yourself against these black criminals. You don't know who. You don't know who is who. You don't know which nigger is another criminal. You don't know. So your best bet is not to trust them. Don't trust any of them. If you know the person, as in you really know the person, then you can walk side by side. But if you don't know the person and you are in a strange neighborhood, you're walking in the city, as long as you notice a black person coming, cross the road. Hold your person, put your hand in your purse, let them think you have a weapon. If you look behind you and you see them coming up behind you,
let me pause because I can't listen to I can't listen to any more bullshit. I can't listen to any more bullshit. Guyanese home and abroad. This is the man we are watching. This is the man that you are upon his site and encouraging him. So in Guyana, this man here, right, is trying to say that black people who he called niggers, right, are the ones that is doing the killing and the thieving and whatever not in Guyana. So Amerindians don't thief, East Indians don't thief, them mixed race people don't thief, only black people does thief. No, according to him, black niggers. Black people, when are we going to just realize that some of us are as deadly, like a fucking mosquitoes that bite you and give you all kind of sickness and kill you? When are we going to realize that? When are we going to stop and realize that some of us, we should not follow, we should not like, and we should not have anything to do with? This man is very disrespectful. This man is very, very, very disrespectful. So how are you people following him? Why don't you guys just boycott this man? Because on his program is a set of people that are of African descent. The said people he's calling niggers. Because this man Prasad was raised by East Indians and grew up among East Indians. This man believes he's an East Indian too, because he have a name called Prasad. So for the rest of us, we are not good people. Well, sir, let me tell you. My mother make one son. He never thief, he never rob, he never murder nobody. And I don't know where you get your nonsense from. However, I'm so ashamed, I can't even talk. This man sick my stomach so much, I don't have, this man's heart, if Facebook would ban me. Let me come off this internet, eh? Good night.
All I needed to play that, and for those who are thinking about the people, yes, and I forget to say the N word, right? But it's important because we need to understand the mindset of some people. Not everybody who look like you is part of your tribe, you know. Not everybody who look like me is part of my tribe, you know. I'm proud to be black, I'm proud to be African, and I will support African people. But not all of them is people, you know. It has some of them, you just have to left them, you know. Because them it change, you know, them doing what they want, saying what they want, and wherever they could get, wherever little hustle, wherever, and that's how them just operate. Me vex with nobody, but you just have to know who is who. Their friends, their acquaintances, their co-workers. You need to understand the difference. Not everybody is a friend because the skin and grain with you. Not everybody is a friend. And not everybody is to tell you everything about yourself. You have to know who's you're talking to. This man, this woman is saying, I am not from Guyana. This woman is saying that man is a doctor. I look at some of the thread going on, they're saying, yes, he's a doctor. He was brought up by Indian people, around Indian people. And that is what they teach him. He had to learn that from that environment. He had to learn to hate his own from that environment that he grew up in. And he is so blinded. He don't even understand he's talking about himself. Because he talking about that if somebody in Guyana see he and don't know he is a doctor or he's the doctor who was warning people, could take he for the same people he trying to describe and run from he. But what is more frightening, this man does see after patients. That man have a practice. So no African people can't go there. You could go there and get help. You could go there and get, as they say, bad injection and bad medicine just based on what he said. This man sound hateful. He hates himself and he black. The man is black, the man is not Indian. Just because you grew up in an Indian community, that don't make you Indian. But then again, the Indians they go around and grow up around, that is what they stop with African people. It is so sad. It is so sad. It's a joy to know that an Indian family took him in, I don't know his circumstances. But to teach him that type of self-hate, that is wicked and bad. That is wickedness to whoever bring him up. But it's a good thing when they take a child who must see, whatever reason, I don't know what reason, ever to bring up the child. But you don't take that child and make that child a weapon for nobody. That wickedness. That evil and wickedness. When she was talking, I thought it was an Indian man. No? When I see the African man, I say, here we goes again. Anyway, let me move on. And 50 we doctors going across there, I might be mingling with you. So imagine. Oh, boy. Look, let me move on. Eh? President Irfan Ali, are you aware of that? So I'm seeing here that they're saying this was in the Guardian. With a keen eye trained on Trinidad and Tobago foreign policy circles and looking back on an eventful year in the international affairs of the Caribbean and CARICOM. So they were talking about as Trump 2.0 takes root, CARICOM faces foreign policy quandary. And I think some of the problems we may be facing is due solely to Mrs. Kamla Persad, the Honorable. So I just read about 2 paragraphs because it's very long, or I shouldn't even read it because I don't want to not give people because I might make our opinion based off an article. I don't read the whole thing. So I'll leave it there so anybody can go and look at the article. It's quite lengthy. It was in the Guardian yesterday, and the headline is, as Trump 2.0 takes root, CARICOM faces foreign policy quandary, and it is via Dr. Nand Baduli. Hope I got it right. So let me move on. Let me move on, Papayo. So let me go to Tobago's. Excuse me. I'm reading this here from a brother called Gavin Walters. He's from Tobago and he is an activist and he advocates for what is right in Tobago. He wants to see his island run properly. He is very appalled by what he's seeing happening with the TPP and the behavior that has perpetuated in Tobago since the advent of Juke and Farley Chavez Augustine. He's also a PNM, which is nothing that should debar him from being concerned or to take him less serious because he's a PNM, that you would not listen to what he's saying. Because being a PNM does not mean to say you can't be fair in your conversation, you can't be come with data that is your information and what you write is driven by data, right? So let me put that there. So this is what he said. Two of the QTQ, where's the Q? Papa? Two of, that's what it is, right? Two of the QTQ candidates had to be selected under duress because it's obvious that Farley didn't want them. But the only way that they had to be included as candidates is because somebody has Farley balls in their hands. So who is it? Imagine Trevor is a candidate after all, when it had been bandied about that former police officer Sebro was the show call after an early retirement from the TTPS. Not a wise move at all. In a list of candidates that had been sharing around social media platforms, Sebro was named as the candidate for Scarborough Mount Grace, but it has been declared as fake news by the party and a new list was named. Maybe it was leaked and had created mayhem within the leadership and membership of the party because folks wouldn't have seen their names, saying they were a certainty. How can a candidate whose entire 4-year tenure was marred by all sorts of allegations of corruption, legal troubles with the flouting of AML laws, and numerous controversies be re-elected as a candidate? What does he have on them that make him invincible? What does that say about the credibility of the chief secretary and political leader of the party? Who has the final say? Is it he that compromised that he cannot deny the candidacy of Trevor James? Well, if it is that Trevor has dirt on Farley, then so will Whitey. He and Trevor have a long relationship from since school days, and whatever Trevor knows, so will Whitey. So why was Whitey selected after being denied by the screening committee? Who then gave an instruction to go fish again for the Mariah Mason Hall seat? Lines were thrown, but no other fish bait debate. No other fish bait debate. There was some heated controversy over that seat, with the pressure mounting day by day for the reinstalling of Ian Pollard as the candidate from within the constituency and outside as well. The pressure eventually burst the pipe on the same night of the naming of the candidate. There was visible relief for Whitey after his entire battalion was there for any other eventuality. This is a clear indication that the leadership of the QTQ has absolutely no moral compass, and the leader himself is highly compromised and powerless, that he can be seemingly held to ransom by subordinates or renegades, that he is now forced to endorse as candidates during this campaign. Oh, what an unenvious position to be in. This should be an eye-opener for Tobago electorate, that we may be putting pussycats with very deep secrets for each other to watch our milk for another term. Only this time, there may be no milk at all. And the QTQ is TPP. I guess they have a way to just write it, I don't know. So that there is some news from Tobago. I understand that. There's a video also. Where is it? Oh, okay. So I won't play that today. It's a kind of little lengthy. The article will do for now. I understand Saturday is the launching of the candidates in the People's National Movement. You know, the PNN does that really nicely and all that. And I hear that people afraid to go. Not the candidates, people who support the PNN. I hear they're afraid to go because they're afraid they go get victimized. So don't be surprised if all this city crowd looking at kind of way that plenty people ain't go because they're frightened. They're afraid to go lost the war. Man, what is this? What is really going on today, boy? What kind of drum days is what we will rally through? Yeah? Or let's stay with me. Stay with me. Yeah, so they're frightened to come out. But Tobago people, listen, it's all right, you know. It's all right to support who the hell all want to support. Whether PNM, TPQ, Tupupil, wherever the hell it is, that's all right. Nobody should have all the frightened. All at the end of this is brother, sister, cousin, auntie, nenen, godson, godmother, auntie. Don't come now, man. After the damn election, we'll all have to live there together. Stop that stupidness. Let people free to support who they want. If all they really feel, Fale and them could run Tobago again for the next 4 years. Look, let me say all the business there, Papa. Couldn't tell me that to not stay all the business. Let me continue. Woo! Don't take candle to see in the dark way you can see in the day. Tobago. Don't get caught up with who like one, who like one, who this and that is who could build this country. And them young ones and them who keep saying that PNM never do nothing for Tobago 21 years. As somebody put it so nicely, I think it's the young lady, Miss Campbell. It's every 4 years there is an election. So you can't lump the 21 together because the first 4 years of the PNM, they came into office in the THA, they would have done a lot of work. And that's how they was voted back for the next 4 years. And they did more work and they was voted back again and voted back. And it's in 2022, whatever reason. So all they can't say to PNM never did nothing for Tobago. All the infrastructure in Tobago is the PNM building. Under Mr. Robinson and the Tobago wasn't how developed as it is. That is a fact. So let them stop fooling only with this talk. PNM never do nothing in 21 years. If PNM didn't do nothing in 21 years, only can be enjoying the things only does enjoy right now. Scholarship, gate, hospital, play park. Everything only does enjoy because of the people starting the roads. Or their airport, let a radar there. So me and the airport go ever open. Who the hell want to land the plane in a place with that kind of... Anyway, I don't know. I just say, if I'm a pilot, I see that, I might be worried. I come with a flight of tourists. That day, accident. So anywho's Tobago, it's in all your hands. So, you know, Dukaran's son, Mr. Wilson Dukaran, I find him to be an honorable gentleman, honestly. I don't know why he gets that tap with Kamla then. So his son was dismissed from Exim Bank. They're getting, in my opinion, they're getting rid of anybody who standing up and saying, no, we're not doing that. We're doing the right thing. You have to be saying I'm doing the wrong thing. That's my opinion I given, and you could stay in the UNC. Because this man, this sellout one, Coach O, the only thing he can do is publicly lick Kamla Prasad Visesa Bamsi. I saying it today's Friday. Because he called them what? Uncivilized national crooks. He said, all kind of thing about them, and the man right there. The chief Satmaraj mess him up on TV and say, I despise you. He said, but I'm happy that you build schools for your thing. Satmaraj said, what you build? What you build? You build nothing. You proud of me? I despise you. The man still went the man's funeral and say he like Martin Luther King. I said, like, the way they get he to Robbie eat. You ain't say he like Mahatma Gandhi or Martin Luther King? Martin Luther King was a part of the civil rights movement. What civil rights movement it had in this country? What Indians had to march for in this country? What they get you to rob, you take it and choke it straight down your throat. So, I digress. Dukaran says son's Exim Bank dismissal unjust. This was in the Guardian yesterday. Wrongful and unjust. The decision to fire Navin Dukaran from the post of CEO of the Export-Import Bank of TNT, the Exim Bank, was done wrongfully and was grossly unjust, says Navin's father, Winston Dukaran. a former Congress of the People leader and the People's Partnership Government Minister of Finance. His son was fired as Exim CEO last Friday. Government Ministers of Finance and Government Ministers of Finance and in Finance, Dave Tanku and Kennedy Raj Singh, have stood by the decision. But the Greater San Fernando Area Chamber of Commerce, the Chaguanas Chamber, the Greater Tenopuna Areas Chamber of Commerce, and the Confederation of Regional Business Chambers have expressed concerns and unease about the issue. They should be concerned. They call for fairness, stability, and transparency in the distribution of foreign exchange following Navin's Dukuran dismissal. Yesterday, Dukuran Sr., who is also a former Foreign Affairs Minister, said, "At the outset, I must declare that Navin is my son. Last Friday, December 5th, Navin called me to say that he has been summoned by the new chairman, Mr. Edwin Chara, who informed him that he was being dismissed as CEO with immediate effect. I learned later that there was no board decision on the matter, and his letter of dismissal indicated no cause for his dismissal." Dukuran added, "For clarity, it appears that the narrative for this dismissal was an inequitable distribution of foreign exchange with particular reference to the pharmaceutical sector. This sentiment was echoed by several of the business chambers, with some notable exceptions. The Minister of Finance, Mr. Tanku, told the media that it was part of the transformation being undertaken, later reinforced on television by the Minister of Planning, Mr. Raj Singh. Earlier, all the data on the distribution of foreign exchange was made public." Let me see. Okay, we nearly finished. I want to read it. I want to give Mr. Dukuran that respect. "In my assessment of the data, I could find no empirical validity for his assertion, having also noted that the process of allocating foreign exchange is set by government policy, approved by the board, while the CEO implements such decision. Dukuran said, in my view, the decision to fire the CEO was done wrongfully. No board decision without cause from an employment contract perspective. Given his performance over his entire tenure, he successfully turned around the Exim Bank of TNT from losses to profitability that now contributes to the national treasury of Trinidad and Tobago. Balance sheets are on the bank's website for anyone to see and interpret. Other indicators will concur with this as a case study of a successful state enterprise. An independent professional advice is advisable in the public interest. In light of these factors, I consider the dismissal to be grossly unjust. While I do not wish to prolong this agony, I too join with Navin in wishing the bank the best." Responding to the media query on Winston Dukuran's statement yesterday, Finance Minister Tanku said, "Mr. N. Dukuran and or his parent are entitled to his or their opinion, as is everyone else, including the small and medium enterprises and clients of the Exim Bank." It's so disrespectful. A spokeswoman of the Exim Bank said Charia was not in when he was contacted yesterday and took a number for him to return the call. Up to press time, however, he had not returned the call. He was also contacted later on and sent queries via WhatsApp, but didn't respond in question to Winston Dukuran claim that there was no Exim Bank board decision on Navin's Dukuran dismissal, that the latter letter of dismissal gave no cause for his dismissal. For details on how the dismissal arose and for comments on the concerns cited by several business chambers on the situation. Mr. Dukuran, my dear, I would expect that you all will take this matter further because you keep stressing that your son's dismissal was unfair. So I don't expect you all not to get a lawyer. You don't want to prolong it. But that was the purpose of saying it unjust if all they want to prolong it. So my advice, if you find it's unjust, he got a letter, there was no correspondence to him before about his work ethic, about his job performance, nothing. They just given a letter like that. That is against natural justice. That is really unjust. Because if you have a problem with me, You have to talk to me to see if you can treat the problem. There's something called the grievance procedure. So if all them things didn't happen, and they just give you a letter just when he did turn around the bank and all them things, I expect Honorable Mr. Dukran, dignified Mr. Dukran, that all you're taking them to court. I hope this is not an Indian thing, you know. This is a work-related issue and another human being being treated unjustly according to you. So we wait to see what comes out of that. Let me continue. He continues. I'm seeing that Bryden, this was in Daily Express. Bryden, it's an open market in TND. This was the 9th of December. It was, what they say, I ain't really ain't reading this whole thing. It's short, like the reading of mine. Right? Look. What is this? I don't want to cruise to buy. I don't know. You have nothing to buy. Bryden PI Managing Director Barry Tangwell says the issue facing the pharmaceutical industry extend beyond distribution and pricing. It is not about monopoly. It is more about levels of participation and scale of representation of pharmaceutical brands. He said in response to the question from the experts that he made. Remember, I hear some talk about some kind of expired drugs and something to Forex and all that back and everything. Oh God. Tangwell said access to generic and lower price pharmaceuticals is also not an issue. Generic drugs are widely available at competitive prices throughout Trinidad and Tobago as the pharmaceutical industry operates in an open market, he stated. According to Tangwell, the structure of the industry is constantly evolving, and international regulations, strict quality control, and compliance requirements will continue to shape those changes. We believe that Bryden PI, the PPRBA, and the Pharmacy Board share a common interest in assuring access to affordable, high-quality medication for every citizen and improving access and fair opportunity for market participation, he said. He added, Bryden PI remains committed to transparency, regulatory compliance, and constructive dialogue with government, regulators, healthcare professionals, pharmacies, and patient groups in the delivery of effective national healthcare services. On December the 1st, President of the Private Pharmacy Retail Business Association, ICPPRBA, Glenda Wayne Shushit, voiced concerns that Trinidad and Tobago pharmaceutical sector is being controlled by a handful of dominant companies that exerts overwhelming influence over pricing, distribution, and access to medication. And it goes on and on and on. Shushet said that Aventa owns Superfarm and M-Farm retail chains, giving it control from distribution to retail. He further stated that Aventa 3% and Bryden 5% collectively dominate half the public procurement tender market. And all kind of thing, and all kind of thing, all kind of thing. Let's see what Kamla Prasad-Bissessar stated. Kamla Prasad-Bissessar has lambasted state officials, including those at the Exim Bank and Fair Trade Commission, following the monopoly without action. Must the dirty thing come from? I wonder them that's I don't really know this one. Them that's like the talking thing, me, you know, if them that's a real evidence and thing and talking and then they'll be talking just so. And me, you know, we go see. But Bryden committed to making sure people have affordable medication and easy accessibility to those medications. So we'll see. So nutrient shutdown threatens TNT food prices. Then I remember Parliament talked them time because nutrient produce fertilizers and all these things that sell all over the world and all that. He wasn't saying those things, so it's obvious if you need those type of things, what do you call them things? To put in the soil and thing now, the mix and whatever. I'm not agriculturist people. Fertilizers. If nutrient not here, that the farmers here could buy the fertilizer to fertilize the field for the food, it must affect the food and the growth of the food. That common sense, so we need to read this. Because when nutrient was going because I understand it's alleged that the new chairman of NGC, it is alleged shake down nutrient for money. It is alleged, William, and they had to ride on because it ain't making sense. You shaking me down for money. We done fighting up to do XYZ, so them go on. And this government, in my opinion, was nonchalant. But my member of parliament did say the effects of these things. Now we seen it because I saw a farmer talking about it and somebody tell him to get other fertilizer. So they go get pig poop and chicken poop now or human poop. Because you tell them get them and how to treat them thing, So are we to suspect and expect the taking human poop or pig poop that they treated and fowl poop that ain't treated to neutralize what you call it thing this. I just asking a question now because they were told by some minister find something else for fertilizer. What they go find? If they could have find something else and they would have been using it, they would not buy nothing from nutrient. Because whatever nutrients are treated. So people make sure this wrongs and all buy all your leafy green vegetables. You all sanitize the hell out of it. Buy the kind of move thing that just have you put in the water and soak it inside that. If you have a tip of Clorox, if not some vinegar or something, because you don't know if they're using poop as fertilizers, untreated poop to put in the garden. I just see it. So I don't know. I really don't know. Everything going topsy-turvy in this country now. Every blasted thing. So, what I have here for you again? Nurses ready to don tools. Let me see what this about. I tell you, every day's a bacchanal. All the other two nights on up here. And I just say, which part is? Where there is? Where there is nurses to don tools. Listen to this.
And healthcare employees woke up to news that the finance minister ruled out any additional back pay this month, except for those covered under the December 2nd 10% agreement with the PSA. They decided to send a message of their own to the government. An SWRH employee speaking under anonymity told CNC3 News they will be downing tools from the 22nd to 31st of December. While some may not come to work, others will do the bare minimum. They even suggested that the finance minister and his staff could come instead and take care of the patients. The workers, who from all indications so far will not receive back pay by Christmas, find themselves in the middle of a complex issue. While many of them are PSA members, the problem is they are either employed directly by the RHAs or transferred from the public service into the RHA. And while the PSA said they are now seeking to complete negotiations on their behalf, a process involving the health minister and a cabinet subcommittee, the finance minister has made it clear that no more back pay will be processed in time for December. Some health workers told CNC3 News they feel disrespected as they are always called on to give more, but that same courtesy is not extended to them. One worker said with the Cougar Children's Hospital back on stream, they'll be expected to work even harder, so therefore not settling their back pay is a slap in their face. Meanwhile, RHA worker and former PSA exec Oral Saunders is pleading for the Prime Minister's intervention. Saunders said no mother would be comfortable with only one child out of two receiving a gift this Christmas. Now, efforts to contact the PSA President, Prime Minister and Health Minister on this issue have so far been unsuccessful.
So what caused that whole bacchanal? This was in the Guardian yesterday. Tanku Blank's PSA says government can't include health workers in the Christmas back pay. After securing 3.8 billion in arrears for its members, the Public Service Association PSA is now seeking to negotiate for additional back pay for healthcare workers who are outside the recently signed 10% agreement deal. It's signed with the Chief Personnel Officer of Darrell Indian. However, Finance Minister Dave Tanku says it is highly unlikely, stressing that arrears will only be paid to workers covered under the December 2nd agreement signed between the PSA and the CPO. After the PSA signed the agreement recently, hundreds of healthcare workers who are PSA members but employed directly from regional health authorities, RHAs, have questioned whether they too would receive adjusted salary and back pay for Christmas. However, Guardian Media was reliably informed that the salaries of some RHA workers were not carded to be automatically adjusted following the signing of the 10% agreement. Sources said while workers attached to the Ministry of Health will benefit from the 10% agreement, PSA members directly employed by the RHAs are not covered under that deal and will have to undergo a separate process to access similar benefits. This process requires the involvement of the Minister of Health, CPO, and the Cabinet Subcommittee. It goes on. I just want to give an opinion, right? That is where Felicia Thomas has failed. And I am qualified to give an opinion on this matter. That is why I would say Felicia Thomas has failed. And that was no negotiation according to my comrade calendar. That wasn't no negotiation happened there. That was a political promise because Felicia Thomas and Rebertis took PSA onto the political platform and had workers in PSA jerseys up and down in all PSA UNC meetings. So that was like payback, no negotiation with them. Because I'm going to tell RHA workers something, I give an opinion. RHA workers have workers who came across from Ministry of Health into the RHA with the same terms and conditions, not less favorable than they enjoy in Ministry of Health. So they're working in the RHA, but they still get the, I think some of them here get salary from Ministry of Health. So they in the RHA, but the terms and conditions still the same as those that they would have enjoyed in the Ministry of Health. If some of them are not still being paid by health, they're being paid by RHA. But the term here is they came across into the RHA, some of them with the terms and conditions of employment not less favorable than they enjoy Ministry of Health. Anything that Ministry of Health and other ministries of public officers get, those nurses or whoever employees in the RHA are supposed to also get it because they're still under the same terms and conditions that other public officers in the general public service enjoy. You see the RHA workers who sign with the RHA to work as an RHA worker, that is a different situation. While some of them may be PSA members, PSA does not have the recognized majority to negotiate for them. If I'm wrong, let Felicia Thomas come out and say I'm wrong. But what happened, there's an agreement or something, some memorandum, something between the RHA and PSA that they sit and talk about it. So what RHA does, they would be guided by whatever public officer, nurses or public officer, whatever get out there, and they would adjust whatever payments that or increases to suit. Felicia Thomas could have in her if she was negotiating, she could have negotiated in that agreement that the workers at RHA who came across from Ministry of Health, whether nurses or whoever, that they too, especially those, in fact, those who came with the terms and conditions not less favorable than the Ministry of Health, that they were also to be a part of getting this part payment of back pay. That is what you should have done. So coming out of all you're going to negotiate for them, you should have been able to, because those are your members that you can legally represent. But the RHA workers, the ones who signed the contract with RHA to work, PSA don't have no recognized majority union to bargain on their behalf for the rights and interests. You could probably intervene a little grievance and talk, and if management or the board don't want to see all you, and they say, no, come in this meeting, or they can't do nothing. But if it is a worker, again, I'm stressing it, who came from Ministry of Health, came into the RHA with the terms and conditions the same, meaning what they enjoy in Ministry of Health, they're enjoying it in RHA. And if they are PSA members, when negotiations are finished, whatever is negotiated for, that they get it too. That's all Felicia Thomas had to do if she was negotiating. She should have remembered those workers, those nurses, and don't have them to reach the point now where they're talking about dung and tools. Because I can explain to the RHA workers now, nurses now that, listen, after this is settled, we will come and sit with the board of RHA and treat with all your category of workers. We call this RHA workers. That was so hard to do. That was so hard to do. Don't conflate the two things. It's two different type of workers doing the same kind of work under different terms and conditions of employment. Because if RHA was doing the same thing like Ministry of Health, there is no need for them to come across the RHA with all the rights intact. It's because the RHA was have another terms and conditions, and they say we will come and work here. But on condition that what we enjoy across their health, we continue to get it. So Felicia had a right was to sit down with she team and include the nurses and them in that part of negotiation so they could be getting money, some money for December. But now it's too late. Don't let she fool all you. Because of the fact that the deadline, what I call it a deadline, is the 10th of December. Was the 10th of December to get this thing organized, because the reason why they're only paying people who on the IRS system and actively working is because if they pay people outside that, they have to do up things manually, and it would have never finished in time to pay for Christmas. And they must be afraid, or she afraid how workers might have turned on she. So they do it in a way that is, once you're in the system still getting paid, you're already getting paid, the system is up at all the different ministries, all the information there. You just add that money after the accounts department and things tabulated and whatever, and you're getting it with your salary come the 18th. If anything I say wrong here, feel free to go anyway, call on anything and challenge it. Or anyone who feel they know better than me, because I don't know everything. I wanted to also know, I met some retirees in town, and they want to know why they're not included to get any money. They're very heartbroken. They're very heartbroken and find that it is unfair. Because people who didn't work during that period of 2014 to 16 and 17 to 19, who just work in the system from January last year to December and this year to December, they getting money too. No, they're not vexed. These workers getting money, no. But they're saying if them could get and them work that period, how come them ain't getting either? Another thing, the time to ask you, who tell you they want non-cash payment? You didn't talk to them. Them tell you they want the mortgage pay off. Them tell you they want the child exam pay off or car loan pay off. You didn't talk to them. So you can't go and sit down with the CPO. And not even them alone. You can't go and sit down with Dr. Captain Dendial and negotiate no non-cash payment. And you talk to members. You want to make a whole mess of that. Look what you do with this. You need to go and talk to members, talk to people. Plenty people want the money. And how much of this money only given in advance? What is the whole? Was the whole 60,000 and only given 20 and 10? So it have 50,000 remain and 40,000 remain. What is the total? Take away an Excel out and buy up with Jubilee Dewey. When he accepted the 5% after we marched all over Trinidad, he went in the night and signed off on 5% and fly out from the country. And then one had to come back because NUGFW got 9%. And because Nixon Kalinda was able to negotiate for some smaller bargaining units at the PSA, MIC, Agricultural Development Bank, them get 9%. So you have no choice. And me, even if you really get a justice in the 9%, that 4%, that come like a buyout and sellout. So I hope Felicia Thomas, that is not what they're going to do, them retirees and them and workers, you know. Because again, I was telling you, and this is not no violence or nothing, this is real talk. What you can them get away with, and when Leroy get away with, you as a woman, you ain't gonna get away with that, you know. And then you don't know what you're doing, not I alone say so. Who have more experience than me in union say that about you. So let me see how this thing go. I tell you, so don't say you didn't know. Don't say you didn't know at all. If you didn't know now, you know. So I'm seeing here that tutor had a meeting, so listen to tutor.
Right. So we're outside the CPO's office here. Tutor would have just met with the Chief Personnel Officer, Dr. Daryl Dindial, Commander, and we are pleased to say that it was a very fruitful meeting, very cordial, very professional, and quite a number of things would have come out of it. One thing that our membership would be waiting patiently to hear is that we have made some headway with respect to your new salaries. In January, there's a cabinet note going in tomorrow, please God. So once that cabinet note is received and it is discussed and so on, we will hopefully get the new salary by January. Back pay, as we said, it will take a little longer. So we're hoping for the end of the first quarter, as we would have promised you. Dr. Daryl Dindial has made commitments to certain things, and he seems like a very genuine individual, and we would want to hold him to the promises that he would have made to Twitter on this particular day. We have some other things that we can share with you. We will be sending correspondence to all our members so that you will be aware of all of the details that would have come out of the meeting. But overall, it was a very fruitful meeting. We would have made some headway. And to our third schedule officers, we know that you all are very in tune and very much interested in what would have taken place here today. And we have received the commitment from Dr. Didial that yes, your amount of money in terms of the advance, in terms of your back pay, will be paid to you. However, it cannot be paid to you at this point in time because of issues with staffing and so on. So it will be paid to you in early the next year, more than likely, hopefully, January. Thank you very much.
Okay. And he came out, that's Mr. Stacy there. Can't get what name at all, eh? I'm not being sexist or anything, but no, not Stacy, Crystal. That's why I can't get with name, because I know it has Stacy, boy, Stacy, girl, Hillary, boy, Hillary, girl. I've never heard of Crystal as a boy name, but Crystal has come out here and spoken with his team, and it's very collective. I'm sure Twitter membership understand. I sure that General Council meeting, or they're going to have whatever it is to talk to the people. That will happen in PSA. That will happen in PSA. So let me continue. I'm playing this for a reason. Because I want all to see how there'll be two tones. They'll be real in nothing they're doing. And they'll just get make out. Watch this.
They're not going to stop us. To hell with them. They could do me what they want to do me. That is not going to stop me. In fact, it has strengthened me in my resolve to represent not just TSC workers, but for the working class of Trinidad and Tobago. That's what they have done.
And emboldened, the Secretary General of the Communication Workers Union, Clyde Elder, as the union made a showing outside TSTT's head office on Friday morning. Mr. Elder, who is among the 503 workers to get the axe from TSTT, accused the company of being underhanded in its handling of the retrenchment. He said that TSTT continuously dispelled the notion that termination was in the cards before making the announcement on Thursday. But the union said that the announcement does not point to any definitive action just yet.
So 503 workers are on notice saying that at the end of this year, you could be retrenched. That's notice. In the notice period, anything can happen. This is notice. So they can still be retooled, retrained, and redeployed in the notice period. We are in notice period.
The company, who this week pointed to its financial situation as the reason for the termination, is currently owed $400 million by government. The Secretary General is wondering why the workers are the ones being made to suffer for this debt owed.
So is TSCT and the government saying that because the government owes us money, we are being retrenched? So if they pay us, we go stay in the company? Is that the logic? Well, then if that's the logic, we want the government to pay us right now. Yes, pay us right now.
As it pertains to the CWU's next plan of action, Mr. Elder said they're in communication with their lawyers. He confirmed that there's a strong possibility the matter will go before the industrial court. Janine Brown, TTT News.
Hear you, then. Passionate. For all workers. All workers. I will let them. I will make me stronger. And all that set of big friggin' talk. Retrenchment is not illegal once it is done in conformity with the Retrenchment Act. And 500 workers, I will not win, make me stronger. Yeah. But when they fire 10,000, 500 CPAP workers, you call them the piece of nastiness. You call them collateral damage. Just recently, they eaten up in Mountain. They expect more, they didn't take it, and then who take it? PSA. PSA will pick up. I'm paraphrasing. PSA will get to the government. So PSA government. So PSA will get it. You piece of trash. You don't care about the working class because you're part of the bourgeoisie. The same bourgeoisie class always a lockdown at and say how them eating the best, they're trying to go in the best school, they're driving the best car, and they're giving workers crumbs. Now today, you, Mr. Clyde Elder, you're a part of the bourgeoisie class that we always wanted. Your wife on board, all they eating good, all they drinking good, all they car big and nice. But 10,000 poor people, all they like to fight for the underprivileged. 10,500 underprivileged. Poor people get sent home. You say collateral damage, you piece of filth. UNP going home. Reforestation going home. Contracted workers going home. You don't care about that now. You're part of the employee. You're the employer, I mean the employer. You're part of the bourgeoisie. Yeah? Oh, look how quickly position does get on you. Somebody could believe you. Listen to you here.
If there are other unions who did not yet sign for 4% and they say, listen, we didn't sign for 4%, we want to now negotiate and we want 10%, we want 15%, that is okay. You can ask for that because that is all part and parcel of the free and fair collective bargaining process. But if you signed for 4%, you have that executed, you went to the court, you register your agreement. How could you not come and say, I don't want 4, I want 10 now because somebody else get 10? That is not fair. And that is hypocritical.
Let me tell Mr. Elder if you don't know. They could take the matter, PSA, they take the matter to court, to the industrial court. It's still in the industrial court, but there was no judgment on it. So that didn't stop them from going and sit down for the political favor. So even if a union, they take the matter to the industrial court, when there's not a judgment on it, that will stop them from going to sit with the CPO. And you don't know what they sign in the agreement. And here we talking, like it's your blasted money. All the talking about Dr. Rowley take money and 47%, which is a lie. But all they get the blasted new increase. Why you still don't want the new increase in the salary and keep taking the old one? All they ask get the new increase in salaries. Big salary, the same salary that Dr. Rowley accepted, the Salary Reviews Commission report, and he take it, he accept it. All they ask getting it too. And Kamla is the highest paid politician in this country. All they have nothing to say about that. All they get easy and wipe on them out. And only focus on Rowley. He was blasted right to take it. Because none of them refusing it. Give it back. And keep using the old salary all of us getting from 2013. Keep that. Don't take this new one that Dr. Rowley went and take for himself. All the blasted deceitful and stinkers, 900 and something senior public officers who enjoying that increase in salary from last month, I think it was. Heads of department like permanent secretaries, deputy permanent secretaries, controller of Ting, Auditor General, yes, Auditor General Jaiwanti Rambial, whoever she name is, who make all the bacchanal. How she is saying nothing now? She getting money too. All heads of them big senior public officers. Me and saying they shouldn't take. Listen, me and vex with them and I'm just saying when they're talking about Rowley taking money for them and Rowley this, all of them ask take the money too. And why they shouldn't take it? Well, only want to be down on Dr. Rowley. But Kamla Prasad, the Sessa, I was told is the highest paid. Me don't know how much she does get. I'm not interested. Like she money. I don't watch people money. The highest paid politician in this country, only to deceitful time whether you like it now, it's nice, the money sweet here, as when people are saying the money sweet here, bam bam. Okay. Then I continues. So I see Ms. Michaela Pandey in The Guardian saying PM response to question on US military strike shows her confusion. Patriotic Front leader Michaela Pandey has criticized Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissess's handling of questions surrounding US military strikes in the region, saying her response shows confusion, denial, and a lack of awareness about an international incident unfolding close to Trinidad and Tobago. In a statement shared on social media yesterday, Pandey said the situation has moved beyond politics and now raises concerns about whether the Prime Minister is misleading the public or is simply out of her depth. She outlined a sequence of events beginning with September the 2nd, U.S. Navy airstrike on a Venezuelan vessel in the Caribbean that left 11 people dead. She said international reports later revealed that 2 people survived the initial strike and that a second strike described as a double tap was allegedly ordered to kill them. She added that the Washington Post and the New York Times have both published investigations and that global media placed Trinidad and Tobago at the center of the unfolding matter. The White House confirmed the second strike on December the 1st. Pandey said despite widespread international reporting, the Prime Minister appeared unaware of the issue when questioned by journalists on Monday. She quoted Persad-Bissessa as responding, "I'm sorry," on the what? The double take tap? I don't know what that is. According to Pandey, the Prime Minister later said she needed time to research the matter to avoid being trapped into an answer. Pandey stated following the research, Persad-Bissessa's position remained troubling as the Prime Minister admitted that the US does not share information with her and does not notify her about such strike before or after they occur. Pandey said, this means the country could be facing significant international development while its leaders acknowledge she is completely in the dark. She added that when Persad-Bissessa was asked whether she would make any inquiry into the alleged second strike, the Prime Minister responded, "Inquire from whom?" Pandey said such an answer raises serious concerns about the Prime Minister's ability to safeguard international. What is happening there? I don't know what is happening today with this thing, but only bear with me. I really don't, I can't tell only what's happening. But let me continue. Pandey says such an answer raises serious concerns about the Prime Minister's ability to safeguard national interests. Respectfully, a Prime Minister who doesn't know who to ask, doesn't know what happened, and doesn't know how to get information is a Prime Minister who cannot protect a country, she said. I never believe Kamla Persad-Bissessa can protect, she can protect herself. Much less protect her country. So let me read this here again quickly. Just a minute. The local fisher folk, they are saying, local fisher folk agree that a vessel without a flag in international waters could be mistaken for a pirate ship, but they say the absence of a flag alone does not justify being destroyed. Because remember, they say that the tanker had, I think, some flag from Guyana, and then Guyana said they know nothing about that, whatever. So, like, the conversation is, if your boat out there and you don't have a flag, thing could happen. So, look, right. So, on Tuesday, this was in The Guardian, on Tuesday, Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessa waiting on the vessel at the center of the United States double tap controversy, saying it may not have been flying a flag and was therefore treated as a suspected pirate vessel. I was actually talking about, yes. The tanker also, but that wasn't blown out of the water, that was taken. I see some helicopter and some kind of thing happening. But the ship, the 2 boats were blown out of the water, right? Fisher folk who spoke with Guardian media, right, she said, let me read again. On Tuesday, Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessa waiting on the vessel at the center of the United States double tap controversy, saying it may not have been flying a flag and was therefore treated as a suspected pirate vessel. Fisher folk who spoke with Guardian Media at King's Wharf and Otaheite Bay yesterday explained that local boats are identified through numbers and letters. Clemens Charles, president of the Otaheite Red Brick Trace Fisherfolk Association, said that if a vessel has no flag, it should be intercepted and investigated before any drastic measures are taken. I believe their craft is supposed to be faster than the boats that pass through international waters. So if you think they are pirates, hold them and get some evidence to confirm Charles said. Director, you can tell me what's happening with this thing, please. Don't get it. Clinton Lochan, vice president of the San Fernando Fishing Corporation, however, supports the extrajudicial strikes the United States has been carrying out against alleged narco traffickers. He alleged that small, fast vessels with 3 big engines were involved in illegal activities. Those is drug trade vessels. At the end of the day, everybody will say they're wrong. They're not supposed to be doing that. But when you check right now, the drug trafficking in Trinidad right now, it is up, and the trafficking of humans is up compared to how it was before. They're not seeing that part. They're not seeing that part. They're not seeing that part. They're only seeing where they're killing. Well, then, anyway, let me leave that there, Papa. Another fisherman, Steve Mohammed, who owns 3 vessels, said it might be safer for boats venturing outside of the TNT waters to have a flag. Given the situation, he suggested that authorities provide local fishermen with a standard flag for their vessels, something to say that is a Trinidad and Tobago flag and something that is easily duplicated, he said. Mohammed also claimed that the absence of the flag was insufficient evidence to launch a strike at a vessel and questioned why there was no evidence of drugs, which were allegedly being transported in the boats blown up, floating in the sea. Another fisherman, Roland Cayenne, said many Venezuelan vessels crossing into local waters legally do not have flags. We did not really think about having a flag on the boats. But if that is what we have to happen, it's best it happen because it will be saving us and those who come in too, so that we can identify them and they can identify us. We will see how this whole thing will happen. This thing sounding too shaky. So you know it have the international experts and experts and all the experts. All the experts and experts and experts. So I'm seeing here a security expert, this was in the Guardian 1 day ago, on flag vessels cannot be attacked. I will tell you this thing to confuse them. One man say attack them, they don't care. Some say don't attack. Listen, I wouldn't like to be a fisherman, this wrong, son, Papa. Security experts are pushing back against Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessa's claim that an unflagged vessel can be treated as a pirate ship and attacked in international waters, arguing that her explanation does not align with maritime or international law. And again, I'm reading this whole thing now. My note tired. Former director of the National Coastal Surveillance Radar Center and National Transformation Alliance, NTA political leader, retired Coast Guard Commander Norman Dillian, said that the Prime Minister's claim is legally unsound. He said flagless vessels are classified as stateless, not pirate, and cannot be considered lawful tagging. His comments followed renewed questions about the September 2nd strike near Trinidad and Tobago water, now under scrutiny for allegedly killing 2 survivors in a second hit. Speaking outside Parliament on Tuesday, Persad-Bissessa said the incident had little to do with Trinidad and Tobago. I wonder if she built the dome and is the dome she's seeing covered with that what going on over there had nothing to do with it. I'm just trying to understand how the hell the thing had nothing to do with it when you tell the Americans kill them violently. I don't get it. and suggested that unregistered vessels may have been carrying pirates. Ms. Michaela Pandey, I know see what you're talking about. No, I know seen it. I understand what you're talking about. The woman said, our esteemed Prime Minister said, the vessel may have been viewed as carrying pirates. Oh God. Then you dismiss that interpretation. Even if you want to say the first strike was justified under the U.S. jurisdiction by the U.S. determining that these are foreign terrorist organizations, and the first strike was done. The second strike cannot be justified if you are using the law of Geneva Convention because you have killed survivors. So anyway you look at it, it is murder. Murder on the high seas. And not having a flag does not allow you to do that. Then you warned that TNT could be exposed to international liability. No, not Trinidad and Tobago. With all due respect, Mr. Dinian, please don't say Trinidad and Tobago. We is not the one talking about killing nobody. It is not we. We didn't make any deal with nobody, sir. Say who are they talking about? Right? So the Indian warned that TNT could be exposed to international liability if the strike involves support from inside local territorial space, including radar illumination of TNT's personnel embedded with U.S. units. Former I'll leave it there. So this expert clearly does not agree with Kamla Prasad's assessor. If you follow the full news, or you can go buy the article or look at the news. Let me show you this video.
The massive military buildup in the Caribbean and off South America should have been met with words and actions of rejection. But instead, the very few that dare to speak are in full support of the American aggression. The Caribbean is the last paradise on earth. Kamla, the Cesar, the Trinidad Prime Minister, let me warn you. You don't understand the rules of engagement. And let me take you back that when it was plastered all over the world that Exxon conquered Guyana without firing a shot, I did not hear from you. I think you should go put on a pamper and get yourself a pacifier and go to bed. You know nothing about wars. And to the president of this nation, you call yourself the commander-in-chief. You too do not understand the rules of engagement. And if you think the war would end when the Americans invade, or if they invade Venezuela, remember what the Americans are saying. It's because of drugs. What if it is true that the drug lords are there? And after fighting, after the Venezuelans and the Americans fight, like soldiers in the day, the drug lords awake and start fighting like guerrillas at night. Your borders are all open. I don't think you understand aggression. Be careful how you think and how you act. You do not understand, let me repeat, you do not understand the rules of engagement.
Okay. It's good to hear people's perspective of this thing. This thing sounds scary as shit. So listen to this. This is what we're about. Zone of peace.
To me, interference is the code. So yes, diplomacy nice, but sometimes what we really need is a cuss-out convention. right? A cuss-out convention. So let me start it, right? Plenty respectable pleas and thanks, dotted I's and cross T's, they getting we nowhere. So let me talk with England. Because like we gone collectively blind, like everybody I have yampy, like Lagley, while we have the privilege of being tired and overwhelmed and somehow still sleeping comfortable when the night come, under the threat of bombs and gun, they turn the whole region into a chessboard with the assistance of a rising sun. Militarized, compromised, marked for strategic interests, marked for intervention, marked for help. We never ask you for no judgment help. Them soldiers come with a bloody bill of sale. How not to want to cuss? 87 dead in the water and headset on international media, stammering and throwing the admiral under the bus. And murder is still murder and slaughter is still slaughter, and not a word of compassion or shred of dignity or honor for our very own whose roaming souls now call for justice on that water. But we're supposed to be grateful for help? Or they come to fix school and build road? Help that has come with soldiers, bullets and colonial chains dressed up as partnership? While we ignore every precedent of where this has happened before, that every time you trust empire, you're guaranteed to get your head bust. We here trying to rationalize dancing to the tune of a hungry MAGA death cult that don't care about the godly lady, her legacy, much less we. But years of festered hate and revenge, aspirations of proximity and blind ambition is the yampy in the eye that too ignorant to see. You could pee in we face all you want, it could never be rain. And we will call you out on every lie, every inconsistency, every misrepresentation again and again and again. Administration, henchmen, village idiots and hack jobs singing foolishness for the supper. America with 3 Ks really must be this wine on we head every day that it was so easy to convince we to give up with power. Have we sweet little sister island as a sacrificial goat in a race? Leadership like Bebe while a population ain't know what to think. Tie up like market crab and waiting. Big macro target painting bright on the back in foreign ink. How Tobago reach so? How we reach here? When did we decide that sovereignty is an optional affair? Or that imperialism sweet? Once your visa stamp in your passport, when they get to rob you, you eat.
That was the sister there. I think that may have been at the peace visual. I see the name is Aisha. Deep words for us to reflect on. Tax, and more tax. So I saw this in the Guardian. Community activists bashes landlord tax. That was yesterday. Community activist and Muslim cleric Imam Rashid Karim has ignited a fresh row over the government's proposed landlord tax, accusing officials of ramming through draconian legislation without even the courtesy of public consultation. Speaking yesterday at the Felicity Diplomatic Center in Shogunas, Karim said he had been approached by scores of frustrated landlords seeking to form a national landlord association after the new measures were revealed. Karim, who was outspoken when the former People's National Movement administration attempted to revive property tax, said the latest legislation is punitive, ill-conceived, and utterly detached from reality. He said the law fails to consider the long list of burdens landlord already shoulders months of unpaid rent, ruinous repairs bills, and the costs of hiring a bailiff just to recover income that should have been theirs in the first place. And yet Karim said the government wants to tax landlord on gross figures without defining what that even means. Do we now have to pay tax on empty apartments? Tax when tenants default? Are landlords expected to absorb every loss while the government pockets the rest? We are demanding consultation, he said. Karim said unless the legislation is revisited and amended, landlords will be left with no protection, no recourse, and no confidence in a system stacked against them. He said he foresees many small landlords going out of business and the burden of housing growing more on the state. And then I saw this and it piqued my interest because usually I don't play these guys' stuff, but I was like, So take a listen.
The late Bastille Pandey said, politics has a morality of its own, and I think the people of Trinidad and Tobago are just really tired of being lied to. A promise made is not necessarily a promise kept. Take a look at this video, guys.
So a lot of people went and voted for the UNC because of this whole axi tax notion that you all were campaigning on. And now 7 months in office, after winning the election, all I'm seeing is tax, and more tax. What happened to axi tax? What happened to no new taxes will be implemented? Because that's what you all campaign on, didn't you?
The only thing they know is tax, borrow, and spend. The next UNC government will not subject our citizens to punishment over taxation and through taxation.
Well, I'll tell you this. A lot of UNC supporters, they're disgruntled. They're not happy with the direction that this UNC government is taking presently. Hell, you all even doubling down on traffic fines. You all double up every single thing. I voted UNC because you all said that you were going to done away with the demerit point system. You all said that no more taxes, axi tax. But that's not what I'm saying. These new fines that you all have is even worse than the demerit point system is.
Now I'll tell you something that you guys probably didn't pick up on. The commercial electricity rates in Trinidad and Tobago are going to raise by about 5 cents per kilowatt hour. And that doesn't seem like much. But when the current rate is about 36 cents per kilowatt hour, 5 cents represent just about 15% rise in electricity rates. So that's just a sneaky way of putting it. Politicians can swing this any way they like. But the truth is, no business is in the business of losing. And they will pass on these rates to the consumer at some point in time. Electricity rates have gone up in Trinidad and Tobago, and the property tax has just come under another name. Maybe the slogan should be, a promise made is a promise broken. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there was strong voices against the PNM because the PNM wicked and bad and taxing everybody and thing, and call them voters a dwell and wicked and evil because he raised gas 3 times or something and nobody riot yet. That was his statement. And something with some next minister they say something with coal pot and the next one says something macaroni pie. I am sure you're looking at those things now and saying, I wish those days were still here. Because the UNC taxing all your ass to the ground. And it's all they're feeling it now. Landlords is going to pass that down to the tenants. We're going to have a set of homeless people. You don't have them from who get fired from CPEP and European and all them places. Now rent go raise. And as the landowner, the imam said, and he's correct too. When people come in a place and mash it up, then you have to stand the cost of that. You have to get bailiff to get them out, they want to leave all that, and then still you have to still pay taxes. What a tango web is web. I see that the Honorable Minister of Rural Government, they bring back something, but it's not CPEP, it's called some upkeeping spaces, something, public spaces, and they're going to try it for 3 months. Let me tell you something, UNC come to me like abusers. I'll tell you why. You know, like a man in a house, a woman in a house abusing the man or the woman. Beating them, cussing them, all kind of thing. And then 2, 3 days, 4 days, they're nice. They bring flowers, they bring chocolate, money, where you want, girl, and all that. All that time, I still bang up your mouth, bust up, your teeth must come out. All your body black and blue, you're still in pain. But they bring all these things here, and then they say, you know, as you cause me to think that, you know, I love you. And then you say, okay, I'll give you a chance. Because he sounds so genuine, or she sounds so genuine. And you get the person a chance. And bam, back to cutting your ass again, busting out your teeth, busting away your mouth, and tell it. And then that time pass, they come again. They bring ice cream, and they bring thing, and they say, oh God, this song is so nice. That what the UNC system. You fire all them workers and them and bring back something else. So after months, they all day hungry, nothing. to bring back a program now to look like you gain something. You call it clean up the program. If the contractors was the problem and the CPEP was paying the workers, and all they want to cut out the middleman because this new program, all they saying all they cutting out the middleman and people go be hired directly from the ministry. So that go cut out the middleman. But due respect, Mr. Amin, or they cannot cut out the middleman in the contractors because the contractors was not paying the CPEP workers. They used to get paid directly from the CPEP company. So the things all they say not making sense. So now the CPEP workers is going to be hired by the ministries. Is it that those 100,000 or how much young people or whoever come out to sign up for work, are they going to be the people that all they're creating the jobs for? Because only for 3 months, are you going to hire back the 10,500 CPEP workers or they're fired? They're still out there jobless. I'm quite certain. Are you going to hire them back? And there's no people going to go, oh God, they bring back something. And all the months, all they ask is suffering because of the wickedness and evenness they would have done. It gone now because 3 months and they pacify and then bam, they stop the program again, like the man who cut in your ass after he get a nice thing for a month or 2 months, whatever. That's unhealthy, toxic relationship, people. That's not right. Let me continue. So, UNC people, they're talking out now. You will not see that back in the day. When you see that, it's hitting the pocket, POC, ADT. So I saw this here. It's editorial. UNC draconian landlord tax unforgivable. Despite moving ahead of UNC, government seems hell-bent on taking wrong turns down a wrong road. Since coming into office, they have gone overboard in public relations and order to assure listen, ASS, so it have an ass in it, not me. UAG, work it out. The wounds of the bitter medicine they were concealing, the bitter portion came out in the budget and then the finance bill 2025. And so all of them for unforgivable wrongs they could commit. The Minister of Finance could find nothing except a landlord surcharge, which is the property tax reloaded and made 10 times worse with all the red flags that they themselves identify in their Axe the Tax charade, redirected at every citizen who has an apartment or a small business on his property. The Finance Minister is truly a wicked man to be competing with Ember to see who can tax harder. So he, the Vrinjana Tanku, is well aware of how hard it is to build a home, which is intended to provide for you in your later years, and to come now and pretend that you, the state, are owed some fair share is ludicrous. This will hurt badly and deeply every single person in both the private and public sector who has used his retirement money to provide something for him to rest his head. I could not believe Tanku's arrogance in telegraphing the penalty which he's proud of. Nobody voted for this, sir. Your own people will tell you how they sweat and toil, the Indian people. Sweat and toil and save and scrape and sacrifice to build a house. And you make it a crime to house a renter. You were nowhere to be seen when they were paying the bills, but you reached to door to ooh and ah about renters and charge them taxes. I cannot reconcile the audacity of the minister. He says citizens must pay $2,500 to register or face a fine of $250,000 and 3 years in prison. Pay to be taxed. Is the UNC? Is this UNC insanity? Is this UNC insanity? Is this a capital offense? It now appears better to sell your house or wait for it to be seized, because that is where this will go. What gives this man the right to impose this tax at a rate higher than the one rejected under the People's National Movement? Pay quarterly to the BIR board, that was paid quarterly to the BIR board and Inland Revenue, taken from the top without any deduction for expenses, incurring in generating the rent. At least the PNM gave a month or 2 off. They took into consideration the state of the property and made allowances to pay only yearly and online after they were pummeled by the public. By virtue of this being a populist government, they seem to think that they can raise taxes 400%. They can fire people by the thousands, many of whom are their own supporters, and now invade your home without people standing their ground. But the popularity is now at an end. Rest assured, this is a draconian and just like bar operators and Fed promoters, this will not be a case of everybody wins. Just wait until the numbers hit. Linda Capaldio, St. James. Well spirited, I thought was when UNC when everybody went. Ogado, look back and hold back. Oh, yeah? Trinidad police has seized rare drugs. But is it the first time? I don't think so. But they have seized a set of drugs. Oh, I am happy because it means less drugs on the streets of Trinidad and Tobago. If it's here, it was destined for. But where they cocaine? Where they cocaine? Where they cocaine? So, TTPS radar system leading to 171 million currently swarm drug seizure. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service has reported its first major success using its newly installed radar system, recovering more than 171 million in marijuana during an operation they currently swarm. I'm kind of confused. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service has reported its first major success using its meaning the TTPS newly installed radar system, or is it the police have a new radar system? They can't be talking about the one in Tobago because how it come? I thought that the American own. I must be misunderstanding. According to the TTPS, which is the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, if you didn't know, the radar system, which was recently commissioned to strengthen national security, generated intelligence that prompted a coordinated response by Commissioner of Police Alistair Guerrero, like the Punisher. No one had a silly thing on the shoulder, and I look it up, they said that the Punisher. Not easy. The man is taking no choppiness from nobody, no other time. Anyway, I digress. That prompted a coordinated response led by Commissioner of Police Alistair Guerrero, along with Deputy Commissioner Natasha George and Susan Martin. Specialized units, including the multi-option police sector of the special branch, the coastal and air support unit, the special investigation unit, and other intelligence arm were mobilized. Oh God, the whole security people going up there. Guided by the intelligence officer journey overnight in the Caroni Swamp Mangrove, where they recovered a stashed vessel carrying illegal cargo. The vessel was later taken to the heliport in Chagaramas on the 11th of December for processing by SIU and CSI. Look back now. Police said the narcotics identified as 1,560 kilograms of creepy marijuana. What is creepy marijuana? I hear about kush, local, red eye, or whatever thing, but what's creepy? Somebody tell me who know what ganja. Me know what ganja. Creepy ganja, so it must be something else I seen ghost. I don't know. So creepy marijuana carried an estimated street value of $171,205,320. No arrests were made and investigations are ongoing as the TTPS continues its intelligence-driven effort to dismantle narcotics network and strengthen border security. How do you mean nobody was held? The radar don't see people, they don't see heat wave or no. But why marijuana is always getting the bad name? With the cocaine. Them vagrants and them I see in town, choking and corners and they had the thing so. It's not marijuana that's smoking cocaine. Get cocaine too. Get it off the streets. Sniff, 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 get off the street. In foil, in a foil, out of foil, get on the streets. Cocaine. Anywho's. No arrest. Right, I said that already. The TTPS. No arrests were made and investigations are ongoing as the TTPS continues its intelligence-driven efforts to dismantle narcotics network and strengthen border security. Commissioner Guevara praised both the radar system and the coordinated police response, saying the TNT Trinidad and Tobago police remains resolved in protecting the country from illegal drugs. And I just want to ask respectfully, you know how much drug bust and fine it had in this country? Commissioner of Police Guevara? And they ain't hold nobody? And there was no American radar? I expected to hear this as me, foolish me. Expected to hear that is the radar they're talking about, that radar that we know could intercept so and this one, whoever, that it will see people. Body heat or something, it'll see pick up extra. What do you call it? All the time now, like extra thing and see people. And it is see who bring in the boat. It is see people run from the boat. I don't know, I just asking because I'm confused. Or is it a net radar they're talking about? I don't get, because before that, police used to be very successful in getting red drugs off the street. So how they're moving as if it's the first time. I'm trying to understand. But anyway, let me continue. It gets more and more astonishing. Listen to this. I'm not able. December the 12th, today, in the Lord Father, in the Express, here it is. 171 million weed hauled and 0 arrests. COP explains why. I want only to hear this creative reason why. Let me tell you, he's a boss. He's a boss. I didn't think of that. So here, the simplest thing to do would be to take the marijuana and remove it and later destroy it, said Police Commissioner Lester Guevara, as he explained why there was no arrest following Thursday 1.71.3 million bus and carrying. Guevara was amongst the slate of speakers this morning at the launch of the Port of Spain Municipal Police Post at the Brian Lara Promenade opposite Nicholas Tower. He shared seated space with Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander, Port of Spain Mayor Chinua Allen, and Port of Spain South MP Keith Scotland. SC. He immediately addressed the issue as he took the podium, locking horns with people he termed social media warriors. Yesterday, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service executed an exercise over a lengthy period in the Caroni Swamp, where we recovered a very large quantity of about 1.5 tons of marijuana. He continued, and yesterday evening, whilst in office around 6 o'clock, information again came to my knowledge, and I went to a place called South Central Road and recovered a further 600-something kilogram of marijuana again. Where the cocaine? And then I said, marijuana and thing does come with guns. Where the guns? I just asked him. So in 24 hours, the TTPS took 2.2 tons of marijuana off the street that had been flooding and creating havoc and fueling crime, he said. He's sounding good, man. He added, however, that in his drive to work, he listened to the regular critics on social media about why the police then lock up everybody. He explained, it is true that it does not paint a good picture that we are recovering 2 tons of marijuana in the space of 24 hours and nobody is there to answer for it. But the resources that are placed under my remit to treat with crime and TNT, or Trinidad and Tobago, is one that I must weigh and measure on a daily basis to see where they must reside. He added, so wait for someone to come back and collect the 1.5 ton of marijuana when persons would have heard a boat going up there, where the police going there with a small boat, because we didn't swim up the swamp. You know, we didn't walk in, we had to go with a boat. He continued, and hearing this boat coming from miles away, You know the police coming. You ain't going and come back for the weed. So what will the police do? We take it up and we move with it because we are not going to leave it there for it to end up on the streets. He continued. Likewise, same thing last night. When you enter South Trinidad Central Road, the first thing you see is men on their phones. So why would I leave my officers to do surveillance in the bush for 2 and 3 nights to get mosquito bites and dengue? Why just read it? So why would I leave my officers to do surveillance in the bush for 2 and 3 nights to get mosquito bites and dengue? The simplest thing would be to just take the marijuana and remove it and later destroy it. He added that the narcotics would be removed from those who would monetize it, then victimize the public. Look, I'm not able. Me not able. It's long time. When I was going to school, let me say this quickly because I want to go too late tonight. I'm not able for this background. Long time when I was going to school, we always used to hear about them undercover police. I swear it had an undercover police at the bottom of Frederick Street, a vagrant. And he had a ras. He always looking and writing in the book. And he said down there and you swear, I come after to hear when I get bigger, yes, it was an undercover police. It used to have undercover police. And that was a long time. It's a big old woman now. I will never forget that police. At time my pastor says a police sent. He watched man, so when he smiled, the only teeth in him all good. I said, He said, no, very good, teeth ain't looking good so. So the point I'm making, back then it had undercover. We commissioners saying, no, I cannot dispute whether you have material, you know, I'm not. But to say that you know it look bad, that you only catch no body and life, and then come back to say that only then swimming, only then walking his boat, only coming. So, all them different agencies, they had nobody could have gone in the water and swim and go there. It had Coast Guard, it had no swimmers and thing, or they could have got this silent. That or they turn off the boat engine and drift it. I just asking. I don't know if that's a steady thing I talking about. I just asking. Or they can turn off the boat engine when they reach a certain place and row the boat in or some kind of like drift, some kind of thing, something, and have men in suit, and they go down in the water and they go down and swim easy and then come up easy. I just asking because all kind of agency was the Coast Guard, was it this, was it that, was it? I don't understand. And if all that to say 3 nights, so what the hell the soldiers and then just go all in all kind of water and stand up a gun so ever I hear snake passing around them and can't take. No, you make your men and women in the police service tongue ban. For mosquito go buy them to go get dengue. I'm not able. Anywho's, let me continue. So listen to Rambles. I'm not able.
Hey people, the radar working. Well, it kinda working. Let's read the story. News just broke. TTPS, radar system leads to 171 million Caroni swamp drug seizure. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service has reported its first major success using its newly installed radar system, recovering more than $171 million during an operation in the Caroni swamp. Specialized units, including the Multi-Operation Police Section of the Special Branch, the Coastal and Air Support Unit, the Special Investigations Unit, and other intelligence arms were mobilized. Guided by the intelligence, officers journeyed overnight into the Caroni Swamp Mangrove, where they recovered a stash vessel carrying illegal cargo. Wait for it. You know it's coming. Okay, it's here. No arrests were made and investigations are ongoing as the TTPS continues its intelligence-driven efforts to dismantle narcotics networks and strengthen border security. Of course, no arrests were made. If arrests were made, this wouldn't be Trinidad and Tobago. But at least whatever radar they're talking about it working somewhat. Maybe they have the base package subscription right now. They have to upgrade. So right now they can only play back and see the last 24 hours where the boat went and then they go and get it. If they upgrade the package, they might get the real-time tracking and monitoring feature. Or just probably send a drone up in the sky and watch it from about 2,000 feet and see where the men or guys or whoever going.
I rest my case. So apparently TV6 asked people this question. Does the 171 million drug bust convince you that the TTPS is benefiting from the new surveillance technology? And the people meter says 85% say no, that the 171 million drug bust, they're not convinced that the TTPS is benefiting from the new surveillance technology, and 50% said yes. And the new technology, again, it had to be this radar in Tobago. So they're trying to sell it to me that that radar is what caused them to find this drug. I guess I'm not a surveillance expert. I am waiting to hear all these security people come out and talk about this. But the people don't believe in it. So let me continue. I'm not able. I'm not able. Coming out of this bacchanal law, oh Jesus, it gets it gets ridiculous and more ridiculous. So listen to this story. I'm not able. Where this thing is, boy. Director, what do you think with G-string? Oh God, hear me G-string, no shucks. Tell me I just see the damn thing, no. Where it is? Director, you there? You hear me? I'm looking for it. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing the video, director. Where is it? Where is it? Let me think that I'm moving on, you know. I will move on. Where she going? Let me see if I can get a quick call there because this is important. This is Bacchanal. This is Friday. Oh, Bacchanal. Oh, look at me a minute. Don't leave here. Bacchanal for so. I just had to go in a sequence, otherwise it ain't gonna sound good. It ain't gonna sound good. Hello? Waiting for the videos on there? What the hell going on with those things? I was talking just now. I didn't even hear, must hear nothing. I said the mic was off. Next time the camera coming off. What's that? Whatever job you? Whoosh. Teta. So as I was saying, it have a piece of bacchanal between Gary Griffith and the Honorable Minister of Homeland Security. And who they throwing shade at who. I want to let hear because look now. Is it children, yes? I had to be children, boy. I'm gonna call and see if I can get this thing on anything. Hello? Hello? Yes, I hear you. Hello? Yeah, well, just put up the two things now with G-string and thing. I ain't seen it. No, you didn't. Okay. Yeah. Yes, I had talked to her 2 minutes while she put it up. These things happen. Today's one of them days. And I like to talk, so it's no problem. Hold on. This is a movie, you know. This is a movie that we could turn off the TV and then go to bed and get up next morning. Oh, this will go away. Because if you don't think this is not a some movie or something, let me tell you something. The stress, or if it has something to laugh at or something to engage you in a positive way, it is too much. It is only 7 months at the UNC. 7 months, it seemed like 7 years. The worse than 2010 to 15. At least in 2010 to 15, they try to kusume inside, a little bit kusume, they come in nice, inside of kusume. But this time is a vengeance, like they say, only they vote for me for 9 years, and only vote for that black man, the one who they say that black man, and he's a Oreo. You remember that man that was saying that? This black, handsome, intelligent African man. That was saying about the man. Like she said, I go to follow you. Only vote for me. And this woman, she come up with a vengeance. Let me tell you something. I'm not saying that you have to have children to have love in your heart. I'm not saying that. I would not be right to say that, right? But oh God, I think sometimes, look, we will lead a conversation there, Papa. So listen to Gary Griffith Ollie.
Uganda, let me educate you. In contrast to what you believe, I have been involved in operations with armed conflict, whether it was in the United Kingdom, in Haiti, in the attempted coup, and even as Commissioner of Police where I led operations. You, however, have never been in a war, but I think it is rumored that you have been in one war, which is against a dictionary.
Look at that table. So that Gary Griffith, that's how we just call young people. Let's say true shade that the Honorable Minister of Homeland Security say he have been in a war with the dictionary. Well, all you know what people that say about the man, right? I wouldn't go there. Listen to the clapback. You know, young people just call it clapback too, right? This is not a violence thing, and this is a word for like peacock. Clapback. Listen to this clapback.
Gary Griffith, but you had armed conflict in Haiti, right? And United Kingdom. Okay, that sounds kind of good. How about this way? It's really an anchor bracelet for your mouth, because that's all you have to talk. Your name should be Gary the Parrot.
Now I want to say something. This is the weakest clapback I ever hear. Gary Griffith had one on here. That in a war with the dictionary. That clapback there, you ain't ready. Better than leave that alone. Not everything you must answer to. Because Honorable Alexander, I don't know if you play back yourself after if your handlers pumping in your head that you all that. You need to play back the things you'll be saying sometime. And let me tell you, it's not a nice thing to have people laughing at you. It's really not a nice thing. And they may cover it up with being bravage and arrogant and yeah, but you know you're hurting inside. And it could be the way you build up your muscles and how that is that type of protection from the hurt inside with people hurting with the things they say. So when a big swan thing, people will leave you alone. It could be all that and all that psychological. Go and talk to, I will advise you to go and sit down and a counsel or something. I am not certified to give diagnosis and that, right? But I know enough psychology that I can have a conversation. And your issue may be stemming from deep insecurities. Why you're subjecting yourself to these things that will be blown in a plastic bag, and if I eat a banana, if you see it, come now, man, you're the Minister of Homeland Security, any security thing on even in the world, you have to go and represent we. That's your level of conversation. That conversation for children. Come now, man, have some pride. Have some pride. Anyway, Papa, here the next is a back and along. Oh, Jesus, I'm not able. The mayor of San Fernando. Oh, God. I waited for the clap back now from here. I don't know what went down. I don't know what went down. But all you listen to this. Oh, God, oh, God, oh. So the mayor of Port of Spain, not Port of Spain, Lord Father, Mr. Chinua Allen, Mayor. Sorry for getting entangled in this. No, it's not Port of Spain. The mayor of San Fernando, Robert Paris, here we say. He tell Mr. Allen. He said, Mr. Allen, listen. The page is Robert Paris, it have a picture here, and Trini Globe, think it over. So I go into what I'm saying. If it's not them, I put a disclaimer one time. It wasn't me. Neither my director. It wasn't me. Them put it out there. So, and I ain't seen nobody say nothing. So he says, Mr. Allen, that is Robert Paris talking at the mayor of San Fernando. He said, Mr. Allen, you are guessing my city. Stop engaging me. Oh God, he put it in bold, so it means to say, tell you straight. Stop engaging me, boy. No, he didn't say boy, but I think. So, Mr. Allen, you are guessing my city. Stop engaging me. If there is a fire on Sapero Street, tell me, how will my presence stop the fire? You are an attention seeker, and I don't like men. I am not a hen. Oh God, oh God, oh. You are an attention seeker, and I don't like men. I don't like men. Let me read over the thing proper. I get excited. What's up? So this is the mayor of San Fernando telling Ian Allen. Well, I suspect it's Ian Allen from Crime Show, whatever the thing you call it. He said, you are an attention seeker, and I don't like men. I am not a hen. This is the third fire on Sapero Street in 5 years. For your information, the mayor don't put out fires. Your hen. Oh God, I'm reading it over city cap. Oh God, let me read it over now. This says, go back and all. So again, there was a fire down south. I think that the fire wave, and I don't know if Ian Allen went up there to investigate. And I don't know what he said about the mayor. So let me read it again. It's too sweet. So if I shouting it's because I read any highlighted things, right? Mr. Allen, you are a guest in my city. Stop engaging me. If there's a fire on Sapero Street, tell me how will my presence stop the fire? You are an attention seeker, and I don't like men. I am not a hen. This is the third fire on Sapero Street in 5 years. For your information, the mayor don't put out fires. Your hen. Oh God, oh. I'm not able. Let me continue. Says Papa. Lie back and I talk. I'm not able. Pound for pound, pound for pound. And when you're out there, you have to take pound. So let me tell you something. Huh? Listen to this. We heard the news that situation was afoot to bring some motion against my member of parliament, the Honorable Stuart Richard Young, the member of parliament for Protestant or St. Anne's West. And the motion was to, it was alleged, by what we was hearing, that there was to be a general council meeting, this one was yesterday or the day before, one of the two. And it was to start 4 o'clock. And in that meeting, somebody from the Central X, as it was called, was going to raise a motion. And I think when there is a motion is for the General Council to vote or discuss whatever to sanction. I'm not sure that the word, but sanction Stuart Young. And I think Dr. Rowley from making videos and them kind of things. So when I heard, I was like, but when the member of parliament for Protestant not talk and make videos, it's always in the context of the energy sector. He don't speak about the opposition leader or the political leader. He don't talk about internal things in the PNL. It's always focused on responding to the misinformation being put out there by this new energy minister that may not be accurate. Well, misinformation is not accurate. And he put it there and people appreciate that because if he don't tell we will know he was the minister. So I was wondering, what is that about? Is it because his videos get more liked than certain people? Is it that? I don't know what it is because it makes no sense. In fact, I think he's strengthening the PNM by having somebody who could talk on the energy sector. We have the Honorable Keith Scotland, SC, who can talk on crime. We have Dominic Romaine, MP, who can talk on finance. We have Mr. Brian Manning, who's doing a fantastic job on Facebook. I love him so much. He's keeping at it. We have Hans Levines, who's giving them as they come, making things in our order. We have somebody, that's strengthening. So why would you want to sanction somebody more experienced or the experienced person in the So people were saying, okay, let me hear the thing. Bam, we come out here. Appear in the newspaper. PNM sources deny claims party plan to censure Young. It's my opinion, they lie. That's my opinion. I feel when they see Stuart Young enter the General Council, they must say, eh. And when they read on social media, the support people was getting when that talk started to come around, they must say, eh. That's my opinion. So in the newspaper, Kishan Haynes' story, sources say no motion was brought to restrict. Well, of course, none was brought. That wasn't the issue. Is it that a motion was going to be brought? Not if it was brought. It wasn't brought. If it was going to be brought, so come, let me not play with words. I could play with words too. Don't play with words. So sources say no motion was brought to restrict former PNM, People's National Movement Chairman Stuart Young, from speaking without the blessings of the party leadership, despite rumors circulating before the party's General Council meeting on Wednesday. At the meeting, General Secretary Foster Cummins raised what one source described as an unexpected idea. He suggested that the decision to call a general election should not rest with one person or prime. What is it about? At the General Council, at the meeting, General Secretary Foster Cummins raised what one source described as an unexpected idea. He suggested that the decision to call a general election should not rest with one person, the Prime Minister, but should involve some consensus within the party to ensure constituency groups are prepared for campaign. What has to do with the General Council, the PNM in opposition? That is something the UNC should be looking to. And so, anyway, with the PNM in opposition at both the central government and Tobago House of Assembly levels, it will be years before the party is in any position to call an election. Some sources who were present felt Cummins' comment may have been aimed at former Prime Minister Young, who attended the meeting. The idea was not tabled as a motion and was not put to a vote. The party continues to struggle with internal cohesion while in opposition. Members remain divided over who is responsible for April election defeat, with some still blaming Young, who they believe called the election too early just one day after being sworn in as Prime Minister. And the word on the ground was, had that election been dragged on, all might again less seat than only getting 33. Because it is alleged on the ground that Summer Orlean, I don't know who is Summer Orlean in the PNM was going around in the constituencies and telling people, those vote for PNM, set out this one because PNM has been there before, we go fight back and build back. Those vote for Stuart, only that 1%, and how Dr. Rowley could just put it there. That is the word he was hearing on the ground. So all I want to blame Stuart Young, well, let's still on that triple talk. 7 months later, let's still on that talk. The thing is only in opposition. Deal with it. But again, I would say, in my opinion, and my opinion alone, or they could go back and tell them something because I doesn't want nothing to eat, drink, or want to party, nothing. I good with them. I good. I just want to see the best of the PNM because I know that the best alternative to the shit that this country in today. And I will talk on the outside. That is my right to talk. And I will say, as I said from the beginning, me have nothing against the opposition leader. Me even talking about the political leader. That is a PNM party thing. My interest is in the opposition leader, Trinidad and Tobago. She is not the political leader for Trinidad and Tobago. She's the political leader for the PNM. Or they go deal out that. Me am interested in that. I'm interested in the opposition leader, Trinidad and Tobago. And she's not cutting it. She continues to be politically weak. Very ineffective. Very boring, some might say. And no matter how you take pictures with your dancing and things, that is very nice. That have nothing to do with being an opposition leader. But it looks nice. Down to a person. Smile how we're going to. I don't have a problem with all them things. I talk no run in this country 7 months with a UNC that gone mad. And you were cutting it. If you have to put out something, it's long and watery. I see something up where it is said that is Miss Ayana wrote it, and I firmly believe it's Ayana Repstoroy. Would have write something supporting MP Stuart Young, because all the rumors when they and everywhere. And people talking about it long and watery. Well, the opposition leader, when she writes anything, it's long, drawn out, and watery. By the time you read 2 paragraphs, it just shoots. And when she stand up to talk in a press conference anyway, people just really shoots. Because there's no fire. And your styling of governance that you want to introduce in the PNM is not suited for this time in the PNM, in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. Not that. That mile and make and when it that can't work. And no matter how you try to say or you want to be arrogant like Dr. Rowley and let me tell you something, eh? Sometimes a leader doesn't have to be a dictator, right? You go listen to Tom, Dick, Harry, Jane, Mary, the sister, the nanny, and then you ain't know what the hell you're doing. Sometimes you just have to make a decision after you listen to everybody. The buck stop at you. You have to make a decision. You're not ready. And I don't dislike you. I don't even know you that way. But politically, as the opposition, if you wasn't the opposition leader, Trinidad and Tobago, me have time. But you have a very important role. And you seem to be living in this zone where you feel you was ordained. Every time you talk is the first political leader, the PNM, and first this and first. Listen, all that is good. It's what you bring to the table, and you ain't bring nothing much. But them who are wrong, in my opinion, they go along to get along. The dash up puppies and them who waiting to get something because they feel they can manipulate you because of the kind of demeanor you have, them go stick up around you. And behind you, your back is shoo-shooing and saying, them stand up for that. You stay there and get tired. The same all you do thing to jump in this one, all unfair games just play again. And this is about Trinidad and Tobago. This is not about no political leader and the PNM. That's a party issue. We'll work out in a party situation. I'm talking about the running of the opposition because that is the government and waiting to keep this runaway, crazy ass government in check. What we checking? And when the people who standing up and fighting back in the PNM, all they want to stand for them. Anyway, the party continues to struggle with internal cohesion while in opposition. Members remain divided over who is responsible. I read all that. Attendance at yesterday's meeting was higher than usual. Sources believe that it may have been linked to a Facebook post circulating in PNM groups, which claim the meeting was to be used to censor Young for speaking out a turn through press releases or press conferences. The post on the page, Lou Nayol read, the motion to be brought before this meeting is to bar the MP for Policy North St. Andrews, Stuart Young, from posting, commenting, speaking on current issues via social media and elsewhere. Very confused, I ask. Why silence one MP? That the one you all have deemed as the competitor, and not all MPs. Where is the one love, one PNM vibes that you all were touting all over just recently? Doesn't he have every right, just like any other MP, to speak on all issues that affect all citizens in TNT? What is the real issue? The fact that people is listening, or the thousands of reactions on his post versus the struggle bus? You all to even come close to 250 reactions. Multiple sources inside and outside the meeting, however, say the content of the post is entirely untrue. Well, I must say that. I ain't reading no more. I must say that. All I must say that. All I listen to this.
Good evening. This message is to the General Secretary of the PNM, Mr. Foster Cummings. Executive election or by-election was supposed to take place today. Mr. Cummings, it was advertised, persons left their homes to come out here to this election, and out of lack of respect, we were told 10 minutes to the time the election was supposed to start that this election has been cancelled. And it was on your directive, Mr. General Secretary. I find this to be rather disrespectful, right, to the ground people of the PNM, right? We have a gathering, all right, and persons upset here, General Secretary, and we demand an explanation as to why we were told 10 minutes prior to the election that you gave instructions to cancel this election without an explanation, Mr. General Secretary. This is not acceptable by the people of Mayaro, and we demand an answer. Whether you want to respond or not, we will be writing, because this is definitely not going to be accepted.
When I hear things like that, we're supposed to believe. I just asked that question. There's allegation that somebody was to go up there and the person wasn't going to win, so they just call off everything. When you hear things like that, there is allegation to that young lady lying. I just asked that question. Look, this is my member of parliament. Yes, I support my member of parliament because that's who I just vote for. I can't support nobody else because I don't vote for nobody else. He's my member of parliament. I always said I never hide it. That my support is for Stuart Richard Young ST. And all who feel like us get something, that's a business. I know truth. Nobody has to give me nothing to talk truth. Stuart Young has to give me nothing for me to support him. I support him because I believe he's genuine in what he's doing. He's not perfect. No man is perfect. And I give him my support. He don't have to give me one shit. He can pass me straight if he wants. He don't bother me. I don't roll like that. I don't, because somebody give me something, I don't support them. I'm not one of them. I've never hidden my support for my member of parliament. I continue to support my member of parliament as long as he's in the game. As long as he's a member of parliament. And the day he refused to be a member of parliament, in how much years after, I tell him straight, I don't vote. I've seen it right here. I don't vote. Anytime if something underhand was done and thing and whatever, I don't vote. If it was legally thing and whatever. But anytime it's underhand thing and all kind of twist up thing, and any same play out, my member of parliament is not the member to go for election 2030, I don't vote. I'm saying it here for the first time. Let me say it again for if was closing the fridge and all that. I have one vote, so you only have to study me. If when come 2020 after God, life providing for everybody, and my member of parliament is not the candidate to go up for Port of Spain or St. Anne's West, and it's all kind of simili this and da. Me don't vote. So let me continue. This is my member of parliament. Are you happy? Yes.
Stuart Young Demois. Stuart Young Demois. Stuart Young Demois. Is there? Looking for a cure for the cause.
Oh, you dealing with the boss?
PNM could have never take a loss. Everybody a vote for Stuart fast. Vote for Stuart Young is a boss, yeah. PNM respect Brad. Original party, the rest of them a fraud. Is it? Yeah, man a top ranking, aka by every day, aka Mr. Universe, aka Eastside. I'm here to vote for Stuart Young. Is it? Your PNM. Stuart Young Demois. Stuart Young Demois.
Yeah, I'll say it again. I've been voting since I'm 18 years old, both in local and general election. People used to laugh at me when I go and vote in local elections. So I say, I know the amount of women who would have died for me to have adult suffrage to be able to vote. I'm not going to disrespect them like that. I take it very serious. But I tell them, 2030 after God, me no big papi and nothing why say no, not to bother nobody. I just want vote. I don't know. Anytime any stimulus choppiness and any thing that ain't go wrong the right way. And Stuart Young is not the member of parliament for Port of Spain, not St. Anne's West 2030. I don't vote. So this is my member of parliament sending best wishes to everybody, giving out Christmas hampers.
Stuart Young Demois. Stuart Young Demois. Stuart Young Demois. Is it? Looking for a cure for the cause.
Oh, you dealing with the boss?
PNM coulda never take a loss. Everybody a vote for Stuart Fast. Vote for Stuart Young is a must, yeah. PNM respect Brad. Original party, the rest of them a fraud. Is it? Yeah man, a top ranking, aka Bobby Day, aka Mr. Universe, aka Eastside. I'm here to vote for Stuart Young. Is it? Your PNM.
Tomorrow, God's Fair, is member Policeman of St. Anne's West, your Richard Young Children Christmas Party, Belmont Community Center. I will try my best and bring it live. And on Sunday, we have the light up of the Belmont, the newly refurbished Belmont Park. We will have entertainment and lighting our trees and all that. So those are things happening in the constituency. Nothing to do with Philip Alexander nor the UNC. All to do with Stuart Richard Young, SC. So all the way, Kathleen, Zion, Kim, Alison, Balti, Bernie, Celeste, Augusto, Cato, Christopher, Hazel, Esther, Carrie, say it loud. I know what I was saying, but whatever it is, I'm black and proud. Roswell, Melka, Sarah, Keith, and all those who are locked on and tuning on Facebook, and let me see all who here on YouTube. You know, just to be part of the stress with this, right? Come on. So, Emmeline, I think I call that a story, right? So, I will see all the Facebook things, right? So, Annette Moses, Merlin Durant, Brenda Smart, who again? Well, yeah, I agree with you there, but I'm going to say material protected. Weak. That is a weak command. We cannot just stay quiet. Julie Batiste, there's nothing wrong in going back to school. He should, yes, he could, I'm not that. You know, people will have really appreciate it. He will be a real good example and a motivator for them young fellas and who may also be suffering from, may also be challenged by the same situation where the comprehension and all that, the reading and all that, the understanding and all that, but I comprehension too. And he go back to do altar or something. You know, that can motivate real people to say, if he could do it, he's a minister. We could do it too. These things does work. Look now. Thank Commissioner of Works very well. Deja, James, Patty, Nayabo, Sadiq, Harold, Brian. Listen, all the next thing all they say I should go alter to it. Mr. Gibson and everybody who lock on tuning, bounce up channel, everybody, thanks for the opportunity this Friday. People, be safe, enjoy the weekend, close to Christmas, let us pray, let us send positive vibes in and this zone be main zone of peace, despite it have people waiting for things to erupt so they could take people oil, you know, like this government, in my opinion, like they're just waiting for something to happen so they could get ready. I don't know if that is it, whatever, but thief thing never good. Because right now you're getting jail or some kind of punishment, something for buying stolen thing from people. Some law they put in that if you're caught buying stolen thing, there's a penalty for it. So why must we get stolen thing to sell to people? So that should be a listen, this whole damn thing to know. People, have a blessed one. Love you all. See you all on Thursday. What's there? You'll see how this thing go. And Felicia Thomas again, I tell you, retirees. See about the retirees. You cause this whole situation with the nurses, they could have been avoided. You was not a good negotiator. I quiver to think what you will go and negotiate when come January. I quiver. Because you're not meeting with general counsel, you're not meeting with nobody. And you don't have the experience, or your team don't have the experience or the ability to do nothing. Wherever they sign up and send for the CEO, the commissioner, oh Lord, the commissioner, no. The CPO, you go just sign on the dotted line if you see that money. You ain't gonna read the fine print. So God help us. Heaven help us. But sometimes I have to blast itself too. So the retirees are rumbling. And you know what retirees? They may have no work to lose. They have time on their hand. Don't let them start to rumble. Okay. So people love you and see you all on Tuesday. Gospel coming someday for some new to see you, Jen, Sister Jenny, Auntie Jenny, and Jennifer Frederick, if you want to get formal. Everything I see here, I could say it again because me talking and reading articles, I see and I might give an opinion, playing the videos, I give opinion. So it's not me thinking. My thing about Stuart Young here, that I my personal view about the whole thing. Who like it? I don't stop nobody from supporting nobody. So nobody shouldn't want to stop me from supporting my member of parliament and saying my thing. Yeah? At the end of the day, they know they're talking the truth. The political lead, the opposition leader, Trinidad and Tobago is weak. And people are worried. Mrs. Penelope Becker's Robinson. I don't know if you could put it in your psyche. It's good to be the first this and first that all that, but that's not what it's all about. Our country is dependent on you. PNM people dependent on you. Children dependent on you. All children dependent on you. The whole country dependent on you. And you're not coming up to scratch. Even your own MPs and them getting fed up. They're getting fed up because there's no growth. There's no growth. Nothing is happening. The constituents are quarreling with them. The constituents don't know what is going on. Okay. Don't listen to me because I stupid. I listen to them who train any of them is the best thing and don't study them and I Stuart Young fraction and who Stuart Young pay. My member parliament have nobody. You have to pay nobody to talk about it. My member parliament have to tell nobody what to say or give them no script to read about it. People just do them thing just so because of the kind of person he is. So let's sit around there and take chain up to one, oh, Stuart Young paying people. And Darren Marcel, he sabotaging. Only go ahead with them chocolate talk and see PNM go read somewhere. Only have a blessed one. See you all on Tuesday, God's yes.